The divisions in the world are stark. Recent years have shown some of the largest natural disasters ever in history. And that really hits hardest the people who had the least to begin with. These people need help. It would be a real tragedy if all these advances in science, in health and technology only benefit people in a position to pay for them. There should be no lesser standard if you happen to be poor. These problems can be overcome. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, nonprofit health organization. The focus has been on the least fortunate, most vulnerable people. On a good day, things are tough for a lot of people in this world and in this country. And what we can do is mobilize private resources for their benefit and make it available free of charge. We're the first nonprofit in the history of the United States to obtain accreditation just like a commercial distributor. And it's been expanded geographically to every country in the world and every state and territory of the United States. What's now Direct Relief officially was started in 1948 as a private effort of a war immigrant businessman named William Zimden. The basic guiding principles of a war immigrant businessman really influence what Direct Relief has done ever since, and they begin with just serving the people who need help. We have this great privilege of engaging with people who come in from very different backgrounds, but with the same purpose of trying to just do something good. It doesn't matter if you're typing or talking on the phone or working on the warehouse floor. They're all part of an effort that means something bigger, and that is the fuel that kind of keeps you going. It gives you some sense that there is a way to make meaningful progress, even for a little organization that started at a kitchen table, but that's what provides motivation in life. The notion that many people, just by virtue of where they're born, the color of their skin, the country they live in, they're going to get sicker, they're going to stay sicker longer, and they're going to die sooner. That's pretty good motivation. These issues are too big for any one organization to address. We really work hard to honor these guiding principles, invite people to participate, and we are sure thankful for the thousands of people across the country and world who have become part of Direct Relief by virtue of their participation.
Every day it feels like there is a new crisis. Families displaced by violent earthquakes and wars. Warm hearts sleeping under cold blankets of stars. Lives destroyed and washed away. Families fleeing into the unknown. But look closer. See the hope everywhere. See the ones running towards disasters to help. Compassion exists all around the world. Kindness is healing wounds, bringing hope for a brighter tomorrow. Look closer and see the many families like Layla's, who've lived through unimaginable hardships and yet haven't given up. Please don't give up on those forced to flee. Donate now.
Gamers, UNICEF and I need you by our side for a real-life mission. A mission to protect the rights of every child. After news cameras have left, UNICEF is here. Every day, everywhere, but particularly where it's needed most. Did you know that more than 170 million children need UNICEF's humanitarian aid this year? At Gamers Without Borders, many of you have already chosen UNICEF, and I thank you for that. Choosing UNICEF is the easiest and smartest decision you can make, because you're investing in a child. And investing in a child guarantees lifelong returns, not only for that child, but also for their community and for our world.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Hello everybody and welcome to Gamers Without Borders. I am Stumpy, joined by Cole, and my word, Cole!
Hello.
We're back for yet more incredible charity and eventually a huge prize pool over in Saudi Arabia.
It's brilliant, and spoilers, because we will get to this in a little bit later, but my favourite format in Rocket League returns. Those who were watching Gamers Without Borders last year, and indeed Gamers 8, will know exactly what I'm talking about, but I don't want to give anything away just now. Let's go through it all one thing at a time, starting with our glorious schedule for Gamers 8 as a whole, because it's massive.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot more games than just Rocket League that are going to be getting played. Let's have a little look at them because we got stuff like we got CS:GO, we have CS:GO Women's as well, which is fantastic. I love seeing that representation. We have StarCraft 2, of course, Rocket League at the moment, Rainbow Six Siege, and then CS:GO itself. Now, if you are thinking, not a big fan of Rocket League, firstly, you're here, so you are a little bit at least. Hello, it's lovely to have you. Don't close the stream. We are going to be hanging about right now. We are going to be the third esport that is taking part, and everybody is going to be playing to try and get through to that LAN. Let's have a little look at the format as well that we've got for this competition. Cole, you alluded to it earlier.
I did.
Why is it that you like this format oh so much?
I mean, so you made a good point earlier on, Stumpy, that people watching this may be relatively new to the world of Rocket League. And there's something a little bit different about the actual competition itself. But the more general overview is that in EU and first in North America, 4 teams have been invited to this closed bracket. 4 had to qualify through open qualifiers, and they have made it here. The 4 big ones are the ones that were invited. And if you are new, you're about to see some of the best players in the world competing on the North American stage right there. And the prize, Stumpy, as well as the charity money, is making it to Gamers 8. And that is just massive. You're guaranteed a lot of money just making it through this bracket.
But you said about the format, talking about crew battles a little bit earlier on, and I would love to hear the wonderful Barney Banks talk us through it.
Welcome to Gamers Without Borders. We hope that you're ready for some heart-pounding Rocket League action. But first, let's go over the format. 16 teams are separated into 2 pools, North America and Europe. 4 teams in each pool are directly invited, while the other spots were determined via an open qualifier. Each pool plays out a double elimination format, with matches being a best of 5. The upper bracket final, the lower bracket final, and grand final matches will be a best of 7. All matches follow the crew battle format. Based on their placement, teams will earn a share of the prize pool to donate to a charity of their choice. Additionally, top 4 teams from each pool will advance to Gamers 8 2023.
So there you have it. The reason that this is one of my favourite formats in Rocket League, as I was saying earlier on, normally in these tournaments, it's either 2v2, it might be 3v3, maybe it's 1v1. Gamers Without Borders just chucks them all together. You start off as a 3v3, and then after that, the losing team gets to pick if you play 1v1 or 2v2 next. Then back to 3v3, then you play the other one, and then a best of 5, then back to 3v3. So it's all over the Rocket League world, as we want to see. And something it really lets these players who excel in certain ways show off why they are individual talents.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we can see these players being the best talents that they can possibly be is because they're also playing for charity. In first, for this online portion, if you come there, you will be getting $300,000 going to the charity of your choice. Second, you're at $200,000, and it goes all the way down to hardly a paltry $50,000 for 7th to 8th place. But we are going to be showing you the charities that these are for. They're all for humanitarian aid as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've got a good few charities on here too. We've got UNICEF, International Medical Corps, Direct Relief, UNHCR, King Salman, and then also the World Food Programme. So lots of fantastic charities that are being represented and will be getting a whole boatload of money through Gamers 8.
It cannot be understated how important this money is for these charities. I mean, and we're touching all bases there as well. We're touching on providing medicine for people, touching on providing food for people who need it, helping out refugees. So much good is being done by Gamers Without Borders, and it's all happening right now. It's starting here tonight. But of course, we have to touch on the fact, Stumpy, that these players are here for themselves. The teams that have made it into this event and the teams that have been invited, let's just say they're competitive people. Let's have a look at the bracket that they'll be competing in, and maybe we can touch upon some favourites or some teams I think won't do quite so well today.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams in this bracket that we see that are going to, if you're a fan of Rocket League Esports, you will know them already. So, if we have a little gander, we've got the North American Barrel, and this is NA today, although we've got very English voices. This is North America happening today. We've got G2 Esports, Koi, Spacestation Gaming. I'm going to stop that. Yeah, Team Axel, Complexity, Optic Gaming, Version 1, and Boulevard. It is a big bracket that we are seeing. Bear in mind, we've got the 4 invited teams. It is G2, Spacestation, Complexity, and version 1. Then the 4 teams that then came through in those qualifiers is Koi, Axel, Optic, and then finally Boulevard. We are the B stream over here, and there are matches happening over on the A stream as well. Oh, first we're going to have a little gander at Europe as well. Sorry, yeah, we have Europe.
Spoilers.
Oh, Cole, this is where our voices come in.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we can sound British again and stop doing our trademark American accent. So in a couple of days' time, when EU begins on Wednesday, going up until Thursday, these are the teams that will be competing. 4 of these as well have made it through an open bracket, and 4 were invited. I'm looking already at Team BDS, seeing how they'll be getting on with Rise. But storylines everywhere. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're going to start, as we mentioned, in North America right now. And the North American schedule is looking a little bit like this. We'll start off with what you can see on the A stream. And then we'll move on to what we're going to be seeing over here today on the B stream. On the A stream, Stumpy, tell me which jumps out at you of these 2 opening matches.
2 opening matches. I feel like Complexity and Optic. Optic are a confusing team at the moment, where yes, they were literally freestyling. Take it here. They were putting up some insane clips against some brilliant teams to make it through those open qualifiers. Now they're going to be up against Complexity, one of the top teams in North America, a team that has recently, online bear in mind, got into a couple of grand finals as well. And G2 Esports versus Koi will also be interesting, because G2, they're looking to try to make sure that they make it through to the Gamers 8 main event, if they get through in that top 4, and then perform a little bit better than they did last year.
Yeah, G2 Esports, they were actually playing with, I'd say a sub, but it's one of their old boys. Mist had to step in for JNAPS last year because for reasons. So they'll be back with their full 3 this time around in Gamers Without Borders, and hopefully Gamers 8 as well, if they can make it through these qualifiers. But anyway, that's the A stream schedule, so you can see that over on the A stream. But here, we're going to be focusing on some equally spicy matches, starting with version 1 versus Boulevard, and then later on Spacestation Gaming versus Team Axel. And my eye is immediately drawn to version 1. Stumpy, for the new viewers, why might that be?
They're becoming a super team!
Woo! Love it!
So I love super teams so much. Dan has joined Beast Mode. Alongside them, they have got Com, one of the luckiest players somehow in the RLCS at the moment. Dan and B Mode teaming up on version 1 is one of the biggest moves we've seen for a very long time. So Boulevard, our 8th seed coming into this competition, they have got a lot to ask of themselves. Then also Space Station Gaming versus Axel. SSG are a team that have been on sort of a downtrend / a plateau, finding themselves in a position they would not like to be in with Arsenal, LJ, and Hoxer, and they are up against a, not peaking, but definitely a team that have surprised to get through to this point and qualify for tournaments repeatedly in Axel, with Gimmick, Toasty, and Taroko. And I can't say that name without saying Taroko, because all the American casters say Taroko, and it always feels really nice.
Yeah, it's also because there was an old show that we did that had an intro that quoted someone saying Taroko, and it's just stuck in our head. So, but yeah, anyway. Also, given it was a world champion, maybe we should focus on that, other than the fact that Taroko could be said like that. Anyway, we are going to start talking about the upcoming series that we talked about just now, Boulevard. Yeah, you got your Delta, you got your Alraz, you got ZPS. He was 1 series away from qualifying for Gamers 8 last season. Unfortunately, he lost it with Sonics lost up against Rogue, who are here now in the form of Koi. They've had their rebranding. But version 1, let's talk about them just for a little while longer. Why are people so excited to see this team take to the field again?
With Dan and B-Mode teaming up, it's something that I think a lot of people, and myself, very much myself included, we've wanted to see them be a team that is going to be competing at the highest level again. They were repeatedly making lands. They were doing a fantastic job getting into those top 4s when they sort of got sussed out. Torment has been removed from that roster and is also retired like the next day or something, or the same day even. And then Daniel came on board. Since then, they have had a few tournaments, and they haven't quite lived up to the level that we would want to see them at in terms of placing, but they've come up against very tough teams. They were in the draw very recently. They came up against Furia, I believe, and came 9th to 16th. They weren't happy with that. I think they've got a big vengeance here, and this is a good chance for them to be competing again.
Yeah, I mean, the draw was only single elimination bracket as well. So if you go up against Furia, I think they lost it in a deciding game of the series as well, 3-2.
But
go on.
It's crew battles,
It
by
is.
the way, everybody.
Yep.
It's literally crew battles. They literally have Daniel And then they've got Dan and Beast Mode for the 2v2. This is going to be one of the teams that feels like it's almost built for this competition.
Yes.
We saw last time when it was Guild getting to the grand final. They this is over in the LAN portion for Gamers 8. They were not the best team in that competition. They like as a 3v3, but 1v1 and 2v2, they were on fire. So it's going to be exciting to see how this changes up. And we're seeing just a few more teams have different placements as well. But Furia, they won out as well that time.
I also remember covering these qualifiers last season when Daniel was still playing for Spacestation Gaming, and the whole time we were saying Daniel will just give Spacestation Gaming three 1v1 victories because he is that good. He was that good. He ended up doing it for Spacestation Gaming. They qualified. I don't know how they did actually in the end. I'm just checking that out now, where they finished overall in games. Oh, they were 5th to 8, so they made the quarterfinals. So not a bad return from them at all, winning $95,000 for a quarterfinals appearance. It's a ridiculous amount of money. We all know that. We've all heard of how much money Gamers 8 is going to be showing. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I just get so excited talking about all this Rocket League Stumpy and talking about Daniel, talking about Beast Mode. We also haven't talked about the 2v2 game as well, because Daniel and Beast Mode, like, there are very few players in Rocket League I think I'd rather not play than them. You come up against those guys and you're thinking, oh god, anyone but them, please.
You would never queue into them.
I would.
You would never queue into them.
They wouldn't queue into me.
That they'd use their dodge for the day and be like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah,
Why don't you just skip that? See an opponent and think, "I'm good." Don't fancy this actually. But down in B mode, they are two of the best players in the world, 1v1 wise. They put them together on a 2v2 roster, and they become incredible as well. So I'm excited to see what V1 can actually do out of this competition too. However, what are the teams we've got in here? We've got Complexity, who are going to be fantastic in the 2v2s and the 1v1s as well, where CRR was remarkable, getting, I think, at times carrying Guild to those grand finals. They just did a ridiculously good job. G2, a team that is going to struggle, I think, again. Not built for any other game mode apart from 3v3, it normally feels like to me. One of the best 3v3 teams in the world, but they don't excel at 2v2. They don't excel at 1v1. And in a crew battle format, that I think will bite them.
I mean, Atomic will do all right in 2v2 especially, and I think he'll do pretty well in 1v1, but with the quality of opponents that he's going to have in this qualifier, and later on if they do make it, you need to do better than pretty well, because 1v1 is a game mode as well that punishes you. It is unforgiving. If you struggle in 1v1, if you get tilted, if you get found out, you can instantly find yourself 3, 4, 5 goals behind. It happens like that. So much of the gameplay is mental that if you lose that concentration on the kickoff, even for a second, you can completely blow a game. So there's also the fact that there's extra pressure as well. These players, normally when they play 1v1, you know, maybe they're in their rooms, they're in their own vibe, they've got their headphones on, they all play in the dark, don't they, these pro players? All they see is their screen, right? Whereas now you'll have your teammates listening in on comms. So if you mess up, because there'll be the delay for the stream, you'll be like, oh, they're going to see that in 10 seconds. Yeah, they're going to see that. I'm going to have to...
Or they'll just be sitting and spectate. And imagine you miss a shot, and then you just hear them go... That tilts me so much. And what I liked on LAN, which, bear in mind, the top 4 teams will be going through to the Gamers 8 2023 competition, I loved that when the 1v1 was happening, you saw teams take different approaches. And Falcons, they were on their own screens. They just did their own thing. They thought, Khaled and Ahmad were like, I cannot help TRK here. He's one of the best in the world. I'm doing nothing apart from adding pressure. But then I think it was Guild. They just both turned their chairs and were like, right, what are you doing here? And just staring at what CRR was up to.
Backseat driving.
They were.
Like my grandma in my car going, oh, should you have done that? Should you have gone for that boost? Like, yes, Nan, it's fine. I'm meant to be going for
no
boost.
No boost in real life. Nan, you need to get your eyes tested again.
Oh my god, what was I driving over then? Anyway, the game is approaching in a couple of minutes' time. It's going to be a real uphill battle for Boulevard. It'll be no stroll among their namesake. I think it's fair to say that our prediction would be a big fat V1.
I think a big bad V1, but not a 3-1. Probably a 3-0 down the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
But 3v3 is probably the easiest way for these teams to get an upset in any given game. You know what I mean? I think 1v1 is... No? You think that Boulevard the might of Delta, Alraz, and CBS, who, by the way, are RLCS regional regulars. You know, they keep qualifying for these events, not doing too much in them. But we're talking
Ask me if you. I know what your question is going to be, Cole. I know your question is going to be. Yeah, do you know what your question is going to be?
No, tell me what my question is going to be, and I'll tell you if maybe.
I thought you were going to say that they then, therefore, in my mind, have a better chance of winning the 2v2 or the 1v1.
If who do?
Boulevard. If I'm saying that, they don't really have a chance in the 3v3, therefore they have a better chance of 2v2 and 1v1.
Is that what you think?
Yeah. No.
No,
absolutely not. It's just sometimes you look at teams and you think that it's just a better team versus a worse team. V1, if they lose this is if they lose a 3v3, I do agree. In fairness, 3v3 is the most likely for them to lose in, but they still absolutely should not. There should be a very, very low chance that they throw that 3v3, but I do agree it's the most likely one. 2v2, if they lose a game there, it is a nightmare. 1v1, it just ain't happening. They will not be losing a 1v1. I am very, very sure of that.
Stumpy will shave all his hair off if Boulevard win a 1v1.
You've got less to go. Can you do yours?
Don't make it personal, no, because mine's quite nice. Yours is... Anyway. I'm lashing out, mate.
Let's not get into that.
It's been too long since we've done some Rocket League casting. I forgot how to do it without just insulting you.
That's fair. I believe we have the game ready. I believe I heard that in my ear.
No.
Not ready. The opposite. Gosh.
We do, though, have a video. I'm not sure what it's about. Let's all find out together.
Oh, exciting.
Generally, the tendencies you tend to have in certain situations, it's like if you're like an aggressive player, you wouldn't necessarily say, my playstyle is aggressive. You'd say, you like to play offense, you like to be in the play. That's sort of more what the playstyle means. It's not just like your general positioning, it's more of your decisions and tendencies.
So basically you can have like a really aggressive playstyle, like playing like a lot of offense and demos, or you can have a really defensive playstyle where you just let the opponents play more than you and you keep like yourself in defense and then you try to counter-attack.
I'd say there's about 3 playstyles. There's a mechanical no-brain playstyle, there's the methodical no-mechanics playstyle, and there's the mechanical smart playstyle.
I'd say playstyle is more of like an aggressive-minded one, and then also a defensive-minded one. It is pretty similar to strategies where you just go off of natural ways of playing and then see how you can improve that.
Well, I've been known for like a really aggressive playstyle, I think, and I've tried to catch up with that as well with like a lot of demos now and playing more like physical.
I'm sort of like a third man-ish, but I'm also sort of like in the play a lot. It's kind of hard to say given that our team everyone does a little bit of everything.
I definitely identify myself as aggressive playstyle. I think me and my team love to be the team that's making the defense be on their heels and forcing them to make mistakes.
The most challenging playstyle we've encountered would probably be the KC playstyle, which is a mixture of being aggressive and defensive. It's a mixture of super hyper aggression, but also like very defensive playstyle. It's a mixture of both.
Honestly, the most challenging playstyle for me to play against is people who are teams that tend to stay in net and try to play off counterattacks. For some reason, I just have a really hard time against that. I do better against people who are actively like trying to like make plays and be, annoying. But the opposite tends to give me a harder time.
I'd probably say a team who is also aggressive is our most difficult playstyle, because usually when a team is defensive, we kind of just get to more have control of the field on the ball, which is something we like. But if a team's also aggressive, it's kind of two teams just butting heads and trying to accomplish the same thing. So it becomes very hectic, and therefore a lot of chaos can be created. So it becomes super tough and hard to read sometimes.
It's always fun getting to dive into seeing what players think about, I think, their own play styles and think about what they think of their opposition and their teammates too, because I feel like we normally talk about whatever series just happened whenever we interview them. So it's nice getting that peek behind into seeing what they think of each game too.
It's also the evolution as well. I mean, Alpha talked about how he was starting to get more bumps and demos into his game when he's always been known as a very clean player. So even at the very, very top of Rocket League, no matter how good you are, there is something you can add onto your gameplay, onto your game style that can suddenly completely change it. And to link that back to the teams that we're going to be looking at, you mentioned earlier on, somewhat harshly, that Com is, I think your words were, the luckiest player in Rocket League to be playing.
I would
with
say
Beast
so
Mode and
right
Daniel.
now, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's also a darn good player in his own right.
He is living on borrowed time, yeah.
Right, he will certainly be the enabler, is the term I would use, would old commie boy. But I mean, he's got like a different playstyle to most of his aggression, right? He's being mean for the sake of it.
No, I'm not being mean for the sake of it, Cole, but he's with Dan and B mode. Like, he's the worst player on that team. I like Com. I feel like I need to just make sure that that's very aware. But I like Com. But if he attempts to argue with me that he is not the third best player on that team, then Com, I've got a lot to tell you, my friend. But yeah, when you're talking about game modes, I feel like Com is one of the ones that does stand out the most as well. He is the demo. He is the aggressive one. I believe in the RLCS right now, the top flight of Rocket League, he has got the record for the first, the second, and the 5th most demos in an RLCS game ever, which is fun.
I think you're wrong. I think that it was... Would it have been Sipical for FaZe Clan in the first match where they won, like, where he got like 16 in a row, where he just went for demos? Do you know the matchup that I'm talking about?
I'm talking about total in...
Oh, I thought you meant in one game.
No. Hang on. Let me find the stat. I remember he tweeted it.
I think it's Sipical in one game. I think Sipical has got the most demos ever in one match. I'm gonna give that a look as well. Most RLCS demos in one game. Let's see if that was tweeted.
Here we go. Okay, I was correct. Here we go. Love that for me. It's based on LAN. Com takes up 3 of the top 5 spot for demos per game on LAN, with 1st, 2nd, and 5th, which is just silly. Just that sheer aggression. And in fairness, if he is playing that role and just absolutely being that third man or being the second man and trying to be as aggressive as possible and help out the first, then he is going to be able to clear out a lot of space for Dan and B mode. And with Dan and B mode bearing down on you, and then you also have to be aware that you've got Com on his way to try and take you off the pitch, then you're going to have to make sure that you are not putting all your brain power into just that defense, but also where your car is in relation to Com's big Deathmobile.
This is one of those beautiful days where everybody is right, because I was also correct, because it was Illusion for FaZe who got the record demos in one game. Good times.
What was it, like 11?
I don't know. All I found was a Johnny Boy video that doesn't say it in the description because he's lazy. So it's just it's just him talking about the demos in the game.
I casted that. I casted one where it was loads. Maybe not that one.
You casted one where it was loads.
Yeah. I think I casted.
Precision is Stumpy Goblin.
Do you want to say sorry?
Sorry to Com is what I want to say. That my
thank you. I'm sorry to Com for being. No, that was about to be rude. V1 versus Boulevard, Cole. You got my prediction earlier of it being a 3-0.
Yeah.
Are you also vibing with the 3-0? I can only imagine so.
Nah, do you know what? Version 1, legitimately, have been more shaky than we anticipated.
They've been having a strug.
Exactly, which is completely expected. It always happens when a new team comes together. Very, very rarely do they come together and instantly win. Even Gen G, they didn't auto-qualify for the first RLCS regional. They missed out on the pre-qualification. Then they had to qualify the long way. Then they ended up, I believe, coming second in that regional when they played it for real. So all teams need a few matches. They need to understand each other's vibes in a competitive environment. It's one thing doing scrims. It's another when you're actually in a match situation. You go 2 goals behind. You go 2 games behind. Does my new teammate need silence? Does he need to be spoken to? Does he need, a kick up the backside? Whatever it might be. They're learning these things, and version 1 will be learning them against each other. So coming in against any team of a level, which obviously Boulevard are, there's every chance they can lose in a game 1 in a 3v3, and then they'll steady that ship. I'm gonna go losing game 1 closely, and then winning 3-1 overall. That's why.
I mean, bear in mind as well, we're talking about Boulevard, a team that coming through, they beat Optic in the 3v3, where the qualifier for this was 3v3 only. They managed to take that series, or they managed to take that whole series with just 3v3. It is their strongest game mode. That does, though, mean they are completely untested in this format in 2v2 and 1v1. And I remember we were looking at how teams timed when they went for 2s and 1s back at Gamers 8 last year and during the online. So it's going to be interesting to see whoever wins this game, their opposition will get to choose whether they go 2v2 or 1v1. But here we are, cool. It's the B stream. It is version 1 versus Boulevard, trying to face off and see who just about takes it.
Apologies for the slight delay as well. You may have noticed that we were waiting for this one to start, but here it is.
I think we nailed it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really... Surely the chat wasn't going, oh, start the game. They wouldn't do that to us. Of course not. But yeah, version 1, huge favourites in this series. And Com, the man who Stumpy Goblin referred to as lucky, almost lights up the first game with a piece of mechanics of his own.
Until it falls back down towards Beast Mode, trying to find Com again with Dan in the sky, challenging Alraz. Goes back towards that midfield. And bear in mind that although I said that Com was the worst player in version 1, firstly, you have to agree that Com is just the worst player, but then also you have to then realise that that doesn't mean that he is a bad player at all. I believe they're going to be continuing playing. We're just figuring out the sound. So don't worry, everyone. Just get in your imaginariums and just chill.
No.
You're imagining it so well, and you've got sound. You nailed it, everyone. Good job.
Mate, I'll tell you what. Beast, this is classic B stream. This is what you expect. A couple of, slight mishaps, but now we are there.
Couple of gaffes.
Exactly. It's all part of the fun. And version 1, we're hoping they have some fun in this series against Boulevard. Don't worry, you missed absolutely nothing in cutting to us. In fact, what you would have missed was Boulevard doing some stalwart defending, and I think they're going to have to do that, because even though version 1 have been tripping over themselves somewhat in their early days, my goodness, when they're on attack, they are terrifying.
I'm excited also to see what that attack is going to be giving, how they're going to be testing their opposition, what they actually end up putting forwards, because V1 have got one of the best teams built for this competition, but the first goal very much nearly going towards Delta and Boulevard with a great pass down until Com finds the midfield and 60 boost goes underneath ZPS, but cleared away again by the man Delta.
Beast Mode is a player who exploded onto the RLCS scene. I think it was during RLCS X, and immediately as he began taking to the pitch in front of us all, you could tell he was soon to be a superstar. And coming into version 1, he has lived up to his lofty potential on the biggest of big stages. And it's always exciting when a player who seems that they're going to be that good is that good. Daniel's another one, actually. His debut for Spacestation Gaming, he's been great from pretty much day 1 for them.
He's been great for them, and I'm happy that now he's on a team that I think can benefit him a lot more. What a lovely catch by Com there, then going for the bump. Can't quite get it on Alraz. Daniel sending that very high, the bump then finally not coming in on that defender. Instead, we go past 2 minutes. Cole, you said that this was going to be a nice, cagey game to start us off, and then maybe Boulevard can eke a win. It's looking a lot closer, I agree.
Yeah, I think it was never going to be a 7-0 or anything silly. It's always tight at start of series. Boulevard are doing some more defending now. ZPS sends that one to the side, but version 1 are just going to keep on coming back. Here's Daniel, a couple of touches for himself. Com is lingering underneath, should open the scoring.
That's wonderful.
Gets it in the top left, and it's 1-0 version 1.
That is a fantastic touchdown from Dan here too. Manages to get that one, realises don't go for the shot. Delta's expecting the shot, and sees Com waiting central. And if it bounces out too far, he's then got beast mode a little bit further out. Really nice play from V1, can shadow all of the passes that Dan was going to be putting forwards. And under 2 minutes left, and we're seeing version 1 take a lead.
ZPS is going to have to do something about that as soon as he can, but Com ain't going to let him. And you can see now how important Com is to version 1. He is pretty much everywhere, all around the pitch, just swatting away these Boulevard attempted clearances. Let's try to chain dash his way around. Com blocks him off again. Beast mode waiting underneath. Daniel there right at the back. And you can expect that from Daniel. When he comes forward, he is precise, but happy to linger back in the end of his own half for large swathes of the game. Version 1 looking pretty solid at the moment. Not overcommitting, not doing anything silly. Beast Mode gets the ball on his bonnet and almost squeezes it home.
I like seeing the touches at the back and thinking, what can he do with this? And then it just perfectly sticks to the nose of his car. Com going up into the sky though with one reset round the side of ZPS. Can't get that second one until cleared away by Alraz. Delta to catch, but slower than Daniel. And we speak a lot about V1's offense, and we're going to be talking about it again as the pass goes in towards B mode. But their defense is just as stellar.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see the stats in this one. Although there's a chance, Com gets to say there was a counter-attack from Boulevard. Might be able to continue that pressure. Comes forward and is sent away by version 1. This is where game management comes into it. Has this team become gelled enough in their recent time together to be able to see away games like this, nervy ones where they get the goal and they see it through? There's a good flip. Beast mode just sent it to the side. ZPS was waiting but can't quite do anything with it. And Com waits. And Com's actually, Stumpy,
he's done really
impressed
well
me in this first game.
I completely agree. He's done phenomenally well. His mechanics look much improved. He was already brilliant, and the demo's coming in. That's his trademark. But I like seeing his demos improve. His mechanics improve alongside his demo game. He's always looked like someone who could be getting those 1v1 show matches, which bear in mind he's done a fantastic job at. He came on the scene in Johnny Boy show matches and was blowing everybody away, beating top players back in the day as well with those mechanics, so getting them back in the 3v3. He is no slouch, and version 1, due to Com, very much in part, they will be taking game number 1. And now we get to do the crew battle thing, which is very hype. Anybody who is just tuning in, hello, I'm Stumpy, that is Cole. This is Gamers Without Borders, and we're doing a crew battle format. The first game, 3v3. You know it, you love it. You know what's going on there, it's easy. But Boulevard have now lost a game. Therefore, game 2, they get to choose 2v2 or 1v1. Cole, what do you reckon they're going for with literally zero data to interpret from?
I think they're going for not 1v1. I think they're going to avoid that.
I'd
Put
love
that
it if
one
they did.
off as long as they possibly can. They'll go into the 2v2. They'll back themselves to be solid. Sure, they're against Daniel. Sure, they're against Beast Mode. But it's a game of 2v2. They'll play these people in 2v2 all over the place in ranks and what have you. So they'll know their play styles. They'll have them downloaded somewhat as a duo, because I know that Beast Mode and Daniel have played ranked together. They have matchmade together in the past. There'll be nothing new.
And they've played twos tourneys together, bear in mind, as well. So yeah, they've got a lot of experience playing together in that regard. I think you've got to go for the 2v2, but equally, I feel like if I'm Boulevard, I'd think, oh, I do fancy a 1v1 versus Dan. That sounds fun. I'd give it a pop, do you know what I mean?
I think that's why you're not currently the coach of Boulevard, but they have not made the same decision that you predicted. ZPS coming over the top. Wow, hello! ZPS gets them going.
That's a little bit naughty. Going up high from his own half, gets over the top of B mode, and then that beautiful acute angle doesn't even touch the ground either. What a fantastic start in 11 seconds. Boulevard making the great choice to go for 2v2.
Talk to us about 2v2, Stumpy. I know that you are a firm favourite of the game mode.
Big fan. Big fan of 2v2. It's a lovely mix between 1s and 3s and a great save. Unfortunately, it does not manage to stay out of the net on that one. B-Mode bringing it back level with just 9 seconds and going for that one. It was a good save from Delta, but B-Mode lands on it wonderfully and waves dashes to get it back into the bottom corner. Yeah, 2v2 is a nice mix between 3v3 and 1v1. You get your solo plays a lot more often. You have more boost on the pitch, or there's less people to be stealing that boost away from you on the pitch. Generally, you see a lot flashier plays, but B-Mode on that one just reckons hits it hard with the top of the car, and it may well squeak under the crossbar.
Yeah, no need for flash when you're this pacey. Beast Mode just does them for speed. Beast Mode.
Technically a doink?
Oh, we're going to call that one a doink?
Technically? I don't know. I gave it to you if you thought it might be. I wouldn't fight either way.
I'll say no. Okay. I'll say the doink for when it's definitely 100% a doink. But I can just enjoy the goal for what it is. And version 1 have done well to turn this one around incredibly quickly. Daniel's coming forward. Look how much boost he still has. Even after going end-to-end on the pitch with the ball, going for the flip reset, he kept 21 there in arrears. It's incredible how good he is at managing it.
Nice challenge in the sky there, not allowing Delta or the ZPS to get too far away with that ball. Now Dan is going to be trying to take a cheek shot on target, but ZPS can intercept. B-Mode round the side. Opts to actually leave the ball, goes for the bump on ZPS with the flip reset. Daniel in the corner, round the side of one, sees Beast-Mode waving central, and I like that. Fakes out the pass, and now this offense can continue.
You can already see why 2v2 is so subtly different to 3v3. Just that slight extra little bit of time that these players have on the ball. Times like this now, ZPS can allow Beast Mode to come forward, really try and goad him in and send the ball forwards. Daniel read it there. Sent it towards Beast Mode, who is up, who gets it to the backboard, can't quite get the second shot. Version 1, they just snap like a Viper when they're ready, but ZPS has done this once already this game. Daniel reads it though, one of the smartest players in Rocket League, knew exactly what ZPS was trying that time.
In the midfield, Delta's going to catch and then find ZPS as well. Bear in mind, you see a lot fewer passes in 2v2, especially lateral passes, because as soon as that gets caught out, then you've not got any player at the back to be shutting down any counter-attack. So a lot more forward-facing passes through balls almost, and Beast Mode sends that ball through straight towards the net.
There's going to be some pretty goals in this 2v2, you can already imagine. Beast Mode just again, pace. It's not always about being flashy and mechanical. Sometimes you just get to that ball ahead of your opponents and it's going to find its way into the back of the net.
Well, ZPS also going for that back boost as well, trying to think, do I have time, do I not? But when you're against B-Mode, one of the fastest players, you probably won't have time. Daniel getting one reset, tries to fake out ZPS, sends him high, then goes up high above him. What did you say about his boost?
He just had so many boosts, so much boost.
So many boosts, such little time.
He just had so many boost units, is what I'm saying, despite doing a couple of jumps and some, little tiddly fakes towards Boulevard, who are struggling a little bit. They've got the mechanics. Do they have the teamwork? Do they have the desire to break through version 1? 2v2 could be a big opportunity for them. To get it going soon. What they don't want is to give Daniel this much time and space. He's got the musty. It's almost into the corner. Saved by ZPS.
Fantastic save too off that corner. Beast Mode up for that second one. Goes low below him. Daniel's going to be there to shoot, but misses out instead, and Delta is able to intercept on the way back. Daniel to pass it back, and B-Mode was about 3 feet away. Still receives, gets the ceiling, gets the shot, but the save from Delta is successful. 2 minutes left and an open net until B-Mode works his way back into that back left corner.
The scary thing for Boulevard is that version 1 seems to be getting better at 2v2 as this one goes along. Boulevard got the early goal, version 1 equalised straight away, and now they're finding their way into this game. Bear in mind that every time you change format, you have to reacquaint yourself with the flow of whichever game mode is in front of you. Version 1 have done that now, and they're having fun. They're really enjoying themselves, I think, is what I can sense from the way these cars are moving around the pitch.
I like the turn from Daniel there as well. Manages to reset back down to the floor, wave dashes, and can then take the immediate shot. The pop shot not working. Reminds me of, I don't even know when, but there was a Justin goal that was very similar to that, I think about 4 years ago. I know, I don't even know what it was from. Probably should have even mentioned it.
Specific stumpiness.
I know, right? Beast Mode passing down to Daniel, but intercepted. That's going to be a long shot just wide of the target. B-Mode has to take it into the corner. Flips to get onto the wall nicely, but Delta, fantastic interception. He'll be the first man to that ball, challenging Daniel in the corner. But going up high, sees Beast Mode in the middle, can then flip reset it around the side of him. ZPS with 40, can't quite get a good challenge. Now B-Mode into the sky. His boost management is fantastic, but Delta is just a bit quicker.
Boulevard have been doing pretty much their level best to keep version 1 at arm's length. For now, they'll have to do more, I was going to say, to get the 2 goals they needed. Well, now it's 3. Good luck to you, Boulevard.
50 seconds left, and Daniel brings out a banger. Resets over 1, and then when you get that reset onto then the very just sort of straight as an arrow air dribble, the ball speeds up immensely, and Dan manages to use that momentum in his favour. 45 seconds remain. Version 1 are 4-1 up in this game, looking to go 2-0 rather up in the series. An awkward miss. Sees B-Mode trying to get the 50. All but dead now for version 1, and this is the second 2v2 thing that I've done in the last couple of days. Did a lovely local LAN in the UK recently on Saturday. And that was a nice 2v2 competition too. Yeah, it was great. I don't get to cast 2v2 very often, but yeah, the LAN project, they fancied, you know what, we'll get a bit of 2v2 going on. And in the end, it's done me good to be looking at the wonderful version 1.
The local UK 2v2 scene, was it as high quality as we're seeing now? The goals, were they as good?
I think better in some weird way. Somehow
they had a charm to them, did they?
The 50-person LAN, it was like watching Messi in the Sunday League. It was great.
Well, that was like watching Messi in the Sunday League at times when version 1 had the ball under their control. But you know you're going to get that from Daniel and Beast Mode. Credit to Boulevard. They held them off for as long as they can, but especially that last goal from Daniel. The flip reset and then arrowing that ball forwards as well. While diverting the angle the ball was going. He was doing so much there, and it's that boost management. Again, he just always seems to have the extra 5 or 6. It just lets you stroke the ball that last little bit and get some height on it again at the end.
I feel like with these game modes too, you see the minutia a lot more the less players you have on the pitch. 3v3, I feel it's a lot more big picture. You get the occasional small play where there's like a fake that comes in. You get the occasional, a big important boost steal. In 2v2, you see that much more often. We saw how Dan was just jumping, trying to get ZPS in to leave the ground, and then fakes him, and then carries on going over the top of him. 1v1, when we eventually see that is a game mode built on the foundations of minutia. Every single tiny movement of your car determines how that game is going to go.
Well, we may have to wait to see 1v1 for a little while, because if version 1 can win this 3v3, we're not going to see it in this series. They have a chance to put themselves through in the upper bracket and knock Boulevard, the lowest seed, into the lowers. That's what's expected. Version 1 able to do it. Remember, the last time these two played 3v3 in game number 1, it was only 1-0 to Version 1. The goal scored by Kong, who had a brilliant game. Has to be,
he's back.
To be
Welcome back, Kong.
Yeah, he's there. He's kept his hands warm, I'm sure. And Boulevard are going to come going again. So, what are we expecting from Boulevard? I want to see them chuck themselves at the ball just a little bit more, play a bit more freely.
Yeah, I feel like with Boulevard, they know that they're going to be the theoretically lowest seeded team in this tournament. Yes, they've done well recently, but we've not seen a huge amount of them in the RLCS, which will be our biggest benchmark. Yeah, it's going to be a case of see what you can learn, see what you can do. Ideally, you're going to be looking at what version 1 are putting up and thinking, sometimes patience, sometimes just throwing your face at the ball, trying to shut them down. But regardless, you're going to have to play a different game with them compared to anyone else. And what wonderful play around the ball that has been from version 1. Faking about 3 touches and maintaining complete control despite being almost 0 on boost across the board.
Just as a quick reminder, over here on the B stream we have a slight delay, which means the A stream is ahead of us, and Complexity have just gone 2-1 up against Optic Gaming. That's over at GWBPS_EN. This is _ENB. You can keep your eye on both of those at the same time. There's more beautiful, glorious North American Rocket League to consume and watch as the Psycho is almost averted goalwards by Beast Mode. The Boulevard keep it at 0-0.
Minute and 40, still no goal coming in just yet, and Cole, you were right by saying that this is going to be the best chance for Boulevard to be able to get one of these games. A long shot from ZPS, and it was actually a misplay from Com. He went for the fake pass, the fake shot, went then for the fake, but then touches it over the top of Daniel, and ZPS says yoink, and reckons, I love that.
Absolute nightmare. Getting the touch that you did not want to get is the last thing you wanted to do. But it's unfortunate for Com. They're at least trying to be a little bit fancy and trying to be clever version 1. You want to see them have that freedom. And the good news for them is they've still got 3 minutes with which to equalise against Boulevard. You expect them to score at least 1, so Boulevard have to keep on attacking, get themselves a second or even more. And Com's got a ball who wants to make up for his mistake by just pinging that flip reset upwards. Beast Mode can come forward as well. Daniel rotates out. And what I'd say that I've seen is the most impressive from a new team like version 1, that was a bit of a freebie for them, is how they've not gone each other's way. Clean rotations leads to shots, leads to goals.
It was a good bump at the back as well, but then you just see Delta. He turns to go up the wall thinking maybe they're going to go for the double touch or just go for that alley-oop kind of pass. Instead it's a shot straight on target. He can't handbrake he can't handbrake turn on the wall fast enough. And in the end, it just about sneaks in under that final keeper. We approach half-time in this third game. And version 1, if they take it, they take the series 3-0.
And come again. Com just waiting. Look how much time he's got on the ball now. Beast Mode's already pre-jumping, but that might backfire. Alvarez is up. He's bumping up against Com. Here's Delta. Hit the crossbar. You have to take those chances when you're against V1 and you're under the cosh. Had to be a goal.
Instead it falls back down towards that defense. 2 minutes and 15 and a pinch coming in from Kong. That is gigantic and sends it onto the backboard instead. Dan, realising he can't get it past 2 defenders on that chance, instead takes it to the backboard. Still has a flip here. Flip resets it over the other one, then 50s it with Delta. That is going all the way, all from Dan's work. Com now, chance to pick up the ball onto the backboard. Challenged by ZPS. The very straightforward flip reset. Sees it going in a wonderful position for Beast Mode. Dan rather.
Pretty impressive Boulevard so far in this game. RS is coming forward again. Another one ZPS coming in. They've just not quite got that final pass for now. But they are coming forwards. They're looking confident at Boulevard. I was worried when version 1 equalised they were going to just retreat into their shells a little bit too much, but thankfully I'm not seeing that just yet. It's Delta, yeah, it was Delta. Just waiting for Daniel's
good
touch.
demo.
And gets the demo. Goose is here.
Goose! The Goose is loose!
Off the screen, Goose!
Get loose, Goose! I want to see the game!
Just the one Goose, actually.
Oh, and in the end, Delta, the man that represents Triangle, the triangular beak of a goose, etc. In the end, Boulevard, they manage to sneak one in themselves. 2-1 they lead.
Oh, man. That Goose was on the loose.
It was so loose.
And now Boulevard might not lose this game. 2-1 up. Alvarez is here. Could make it 3 almost. Daniel keeps his concentration. It's pandemonium here on the pitch. Pandemonium in the broadcast. Version 1 coming forward again. Running out of time to win this one. Daniel wants to flick it over the top as he wants to go around the corner. Actually, not able to. Boulevard trying to hold on.
I'm well up for V1 losing this game because it means that we will be getting a 1v1.
You reckon Com going to take the field?
I think it would be
Don't
funny.
worry, Daniel, I got this.
Don't worry, lads. You have a game off. Instead, 45 seconds, and version 1 wanting to get just another goal, bring it to overtime at the min. Instead, Alraz central. Instead, Beast Mode is going to be intercepting Daniel. Goes high. Com is there to shoot. And she gets to 50. If he got any touch on that, I feel that had a great chance of going in. Alraz to clear it away on that chance. He gets moved from the pitch for the pleasure. Dell to pick up in the midfield. Shot on target. And then absolutely rocketed by ZPS.
Bang! An absolute banger right there. Look at this. The pass was lovely. But the finish into the corner, about 1,000,000 miles per hour, 128 kilometers, I believe.
That is
that's
the
translation
conversion
between those
Yeah.
two numbers. Yeah,
It
that's
is,
good to
yeah.
know. 2 goals now, the lead for Boulevard. Surely going to get their first pip.
20 seconds, and V1 need to be getting something back as soon as they humanly can. B-Mode sending it long. Com is going to be faking that one out. Instead, Daniel is going to be trying to follow. That actually bounces nicely, but ZPS, a great turn away. I completely agree. That is going to be that. 10 seconds left. No goal to version 1, as then they find themselves on defense instead. Boulevard can actually shoot. Cole, we get ourselves a fantastic and potentially a very brave 1v1.
I'll tell you what though, mate. MVP, absolutely Goose. He totally changed that game
Big.
right there. That was quality from
Yeah.
Goose. But no, Boulevard, well done to them. It's difficult when you're 2 games down, especially when part of you's thinking, oh, if we win this, we've got to do the 1v1. That
I think you have to compartmentalize.
That's what
You
I
have
mean.
to just
they did well
think,
to do that.
lock it in. Yeah, lock it in. We've done the 3v3. Cool. We've won that. Now what? You have to be thinking, okay, now what do we need to win? So, yeah, chance here for them to have maybe, the biggest upset? I'd say the biggest upset in this competition if Daniel loses. I'm assuming it's going to be Dan going for the 1v1. He should do.
Yeah, I mean, these are unproven 1v1 players, all 3 of them, so we're not entirely certain who's going to be stepping up between the 3 of them, who is brave
Dan.
enough to come up.
Surely
No, not. I mean for Boulevard. Sorry, I mean
It's
obviously
going to be Dan v Beast Mode.
Do you reckon
I want to watch Dan v Beast Mode. Yeah.
I sort of want to see that one too. I'd be up for that.
That'd be
We will
fun.
see. If anyone's wondering how we are certain it is 1v1, it's because 2v2 has already been chosen earlier on by Boulevard. And it is Daniel. Is he against Beast Mode? Is he Beast
No.
Mode? Is he Beast Mode?
ZP East Mode. Dan straight away with a lovely cheeky goal. And I think what we're going to be seeing here is, bear in mind that we were mentioning earlier, the small plays that happen in Rocket League, the little touches. A touch like that is great from Daniel, but because he boosts it into position to stay for that touch. Where else is ZPS taking that ball? ZPS can't take that anywhere else. Any touch, and it's going to be going in favour of Daniel. Really good positioning from him.
I'm really curious how ZPS is going to play this one. Is he going to try and go ball stall mechanics, defend for his life, just close Daniel down as fast as he can? I mean, if he's trying to do the latter, he's not doing it well because Daniel's got all the time there to get a little wave dash shot. But ZPS does defend it. Now he's got some boost, and this is where he can cause some damage to Daniel. Reminder as well that ZPS did play very well in the 2v2 earlier, because the cannon's looking pretty hot. Just so we can keep defending these monster flicks.
Nice little flick, not particularly threatening though, as it's straight in the way of ZPS, and a good boost steal there by Daniel. He's shutting down ZPS nicely, but he can turn back round and remove Daniel from the pitch entirely. But as he goes into his own back corner, he's going to have to set up from there into the sky with one reset, not even attempted. Instead, fakes out the reset, got me very much on that, and we see the error where sometimes just if you go for these plays and they don't work out, you will be conceding. But I like the idea there from ZPS. He went for the fake flip reset, caught me out completely, thought he was going for it, and then that is when the defender would naturally slow down, see what then they can do, and so then he can just go for that straight big shot. Didn't work out, but ZPS definitely winding up that old brain.
I mean, that is the issue. When you're up against an elite 1v1er, if they shoot, even if it's saved, even if they miss, even if whatever happens, ZPS just about holds off there. Actually, you can see there my point. The recovery is always thought about. Daniel missed, it was saved, fine. Already he was hurtling back to his own goal, and he was getting the bump and the demo on the way, setting himself up for the next free shot against Boulevard and against ZPS.
Beautiful reset too. Gets that free flip, manages to get it far away from his car. One reset onto then the back of his wonderful Octane. Top right corner is found. ZPS there has to challenge the entire net. He has to cover everything. He had good momentum, in fact, going for it, but instead can't quite find any save. And Dan bumping ZPS off that goal that would have absolutely come in otherwise. Low on boost is ZPS, but picking up pennies, it allows him to get that goal saved. 1 minute 30 gone. 3 goals to Daniel and V1.
It's coming again. ZPS
Another
just
ground
waiting.
pinch?
He's got to save ZPS for now. And the ball doesn't roll over the top of him. The good news for Alvarez and Delta is tomorrow when they're sort of picking up the pieces of this, presumably loss is how it's looking, they can say, oh, ZPS, I didn't lose the 1v1. It's not my fault. We should have beaten Daniel.
That's the team atmosphere.
I reckon it is, yeah. But
What?
Like, come on, mate. Couldn't you have just beaten Daniel? We'd have then won the 3v3. Series 1.
That sounds like a horrible atmosphere. What?
Well, should have beaten Daniel, shouldn't he?
I agree with you in a weird way.
There you go. Exactly.
Dan getting yet another goal, 4-0. It was just, again, more speed, nice touches round, and knows that with little boost you can still do a lot. And I think a lot of what I've seen when seeing Johnny analyse 1v1s is that people tend to, at lower levels, go back for boost a lot. They go for the side boosts more often. They won't be going for the smaller little pickups and catches. If you can get,
for this.
he really wants it.
Well done, Daniel. Well done.
Getting those pennies though, it allows you to go for a few more chances on any given play. But as you said, Cole, he's gone for the ground pinch and he secured it.
I mean, will he go for any more ground pinches in the next 2 minutes and 43 seconds? I think he's going to go for a hat trick of ground pinches. He definitely
Well, that's
seems to
one.
have them in mind. Yeah.
One of 3.
Do you reckon we'll get 3 ground pinches in the next? Oh, sorry, 2 more to make it 3 in total.
I hope so. I feel like Daniel at one point listened in when casters were casting do 1v1s. Dan, if you're listening, which I can't imagine you are, but if you are, or your teammates are, just keep going for ground pinches. Just get some. Just get a few more. Here's going to be another one.
Well, that's not a ground pinch, is it? That's pretty rubbish.
It's very high up for a ground pinch. He missed the ground.
I like to think that's the easy bit. Like, even if going for the ground pinch would at least hit. Oh, that's the wall. We're getting closer.
We're getting closer. We're lowering.
And then next up, it's ground.
Hang on. Right, ground is found.
He's got the pinch.
Got
So
the
we're
pinch, it's
really.
okay.
He's trying to like steer himself towards it.
Oh, what a not! Oh, that's such an annoyingly nice
Yeah,
touch from the
well
wall
done,
as well.
Daniel. Good
Look
job.
at no! I want to compliment him because that goes so wonderfully towards the net immediately. It just pops up perfectly for him, and it's not just a well done, Daniel. It's a well done, Daniel.
Fair. Well done, Daniel. It's pretty much free
there we
play
go.
for Daniel right now, isn't it? But I mean, this is a nice chance for him as well to strut his stuff in the new colours, in his new colours. I think he suits the purple, you know. Some players...
I like purple orbs.
Yeah, me too. It's like,
different.
it's an interesting thing with both esports and traditional sports as well, where some players wearing certain colours just looks wrong, you know.
Go on.
When Lionel
In a
Messi
sports
joined
world, I know.
PSG, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that right to me. Him wearing those colours instead of Barca, like, does that make sense?
I get you. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that suits. But I think that Daniel does suit the purple.
I agree. And I like orgs generally. Oh my word, Dan, that was lovely movement. I like orgs that go for just purple anyway. Go for non-normal colours. They don't go for gold. They don't go for red. They don't go for blue. They don't go for green. Is actually a lot less common, but you know those kind of colours.
Not good for green
Going for a
screens.
purple or a pink, I like it a lot.
It's also really not good for green screens to be wearing green. Because you
Optic.
just disappear. Well, they should have thought about that. That's why everyone thinks that Optic exclusively wear like invisibility cloaks.
That is the rumour I've heard. That's all over the subreddit.
Hex is constantly denying that
Batting
he
away
provides
rumours.
his teams with invisibility cloaks.
No, it's the green. It's the green on the jersey. Oh, I see you, Hex. I see you.
Yeah, we know.
Dan's still lacking 2 ground pinches, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's a little bit. And is he getting out for the Brazil as well, I was wondering, but no, he just wants to score 8 or win 7-0 or whatever. A bit disappointing from
Doink.
Daniel.
Could have been a doink.
I think I said 3-1.
You did, yeah, you absolutely did, yeah. And you said it would be... Yeah, but I'm not going to count that against you.
You normally find a way to count something against me.
Normally, but you need a win.
That's true. Please. Oh, go on, Daniel. Go on, get an 8th for a row. Version 1 are going to remain in the upper bracket. Boulevard put in a decent account of themselves.
As have Complexity over on the main stream. 3-1 versus Optic Gaming. Optic, the only game they managed to win was the 3v3 right at the start. And then it was actually a very, very close match in Game 3, which is another 3v3 that ended up going in favour of Complexity. And then CRR versus AJ. CRR won it out 6-5 right at the end. So, a close series in the end, relatively. Was version 1 versus Boulevard. Congratulations to version 1, the wonderful purple org that are going to be going through to actually face off against Complexity a little bit later today.
That is a scarily good matchup. I want to see. I don't actually know. Was it CRR or Raiseball who played 1v1 for Complexity?
CRR versus AJ.
It was CRR, was it? Okay, and he beat AJ. Ooh, what a
I know.
Wow, sorry, it just hit me what you said. Cool. Okay, so version 1 v Complexity. That is a battle of the Titans. But this one's over. It's won by version 1. There's still a couple of matches left in the upper bracket quarterfinals. I presume we're going to speak through those now and let people know what they can be excited for. I'm going to say it. I'm going to spoil it. I'm going to go crazy.
Go on.
The matches we've got left, not necessarily in the ARB stream, just in general. There's G2 Esports versus Koi. And I notice you've got a Koi poster on your wall, Stumpy, so let's hope you're not casting that one. You're biased boy. And then Spacestation versus Team Axel. So lots and lots to come, and lots to look forward to.
Yeah. I believe we're going to be going to a break now? Question mark? Yes, we are, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to be going to a break, and then when we come back, we are going to be looking at Space Station Gaming versus Team Axel.
Gamers, UNICEF and I need you by our side for a real-life mission. A mission to protect the rights of every child. After news cameras have left, UNICEF is here. Every day, everywhere, but particularly where it's needed most. Did you know that more than 170 million children need UNICEF's humanitarian aid this year? At Gamers Without Borders, many of you have already chosen UNICEF, and I thank you for that. Choosing UNICEF is the easiest and smartest decision you can make, because you're investing in a child. And investing in a child guarantees lifelong returns, not only for that child, but also for their community and for our world.
The divisions in the world are stark. Recent years have shown some of the largest natural disasters ever in history. And that really hits hardest the people who had the least to begin with. These people need help. It would be a real tragedy if all these advances in science, in health and technology only benefit people in a position to pay for them. There should be no lesser standard if you happen to be poor. These problems can be overcome. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, nonprofit health organization. The focus has been on the least fortunate, most vulnerable people. On a good day, things are tough for a lot of people in this world and in this country. And what we can do is mobilize private resources for their benefit and make it available free of charge. We're the first nonprofit in the history of the United States to obtain accreditation just like a commercial distributor. And it's been expanded geographically to every country in the world and every state and territory of the United States. What's now Direct Relief officially was started in 1948 as a private effort of a war immigrant businessman named William Zimden. The basic guiding principles of a war immigrant businessman really influence what Direct Relief has done ever since, and they begin with just serving the people who need help. We have this great privilege of engaging with people who come in from very different backgrounds, but with the same purpose of trying to just do something good. It doesn't matter if you're typing or talking on the phone or working on the warehouse floor. They're all part of an effort that means something bigger, and that is the fuel that kind of keeps you going. It gives you some sense that there is a way to make meaningful progress, even for a little organization that started at a kitchen table, but that's what provides motivation in life. The notion that many people, just by virtue of where they're born, the color of their skin, the country they live in, they're going to get sicker, they're going to stay sicker longer, and they're going to die sooner. That's pretty good motivation. These issues are too big for any one organization to address. We really work hard to honor these guiding principles, invite people to participate, and we are sure thankful for the thousands of people across the country and world who have become part of Direct Relief by virtue of their participation.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Welcome back to Gamers Without Borders, brought to you by the Savvy Games Group. And it's been a good start. I've just realised I forgot to set my lights back on. 1 minute. I'm going to do that right now. Ready? Oh, I'm a pro. Welcome everybody back.
Why did you turn them off?
To enjoy some nice relaxation on my eyes.
It was 5 minutes. We were in a break for 5 minutes and you turned your lights off.
Look, I got laser eye surgery, okay? It's important that I keep these babies not just drowning in light. Do you not turn your lights off ever? It's lovely to have them off for a bit.
No.
Oh,
I wait till the end of the show and then I sit here, close my eyes, put my head down, and then wait for the next show. And then turn my eyes on, sit back up, and then keep going.
Of all the things that I thought I'd be lectured by you about, eyes would not be one of them. Next up,
should we move on?
We've got more Rocket League. I enjoyed that first series. It was a really fun one, wasn't it? With
it was
version
indeed
1 against Boulevard.
It was indeed. We've got the bracket that we can have a little old gander at as well, because not only is this stream going on, but also the A stream, wherein Complexity beat Optic Gaming 3-1 as well. So a couple of 3-1s. But now we are moving up to Space Station Gaming versus Team Axel. And on the 8th stream, they're going to be looking at G2 Esports versus Koi. Space Station Gaming versus Team Axel. What are your vibes on them? Because people know Axel, I think, a lot more. Where we've seen their name in and around the RLCS a good few times.
Yeah, I think Axel always seem to make it to these regionals, but never really go too much further than that, which is quite disappointing. You know, I see the players that they have on their team, and I want them to do a little bit more. I want to see Gimmick making it back to a LAN for old time's sake. I want to hear the name Turoko all the way through a stadium being boomed about. Never quite seems to happen. They're also, in this format in particular, somewhat unproven in 1v1s and 2v2s, and Space Station Gaming have got no such problems, really. Do you know what I mean? So they're definitely favourites here, as you'd expect from a team that's been invited.
Whereas Space Station Gaming, as you said, Carl, they are our invited team. That is Arsenal, LJ, and Hoxer. Hoxer joining that roster very recently as well, after recently losing Daniel to version 1. So, what are your vibes for this series? Space Station Gaming, I think because they're invited, for me, and because I see them as generally a better team, I think that I would give them the edge, but I don't think this is a sweep. I think we're probably going to be seeing a 3-2 here.
Yeah, I think the only real clear favourite from one to the other would be a 2v2, where LJ, I believe, held the world record at one point for the highest 2v2 MMR at some point. I'm not sure if he's still there at the moment, but he's definitely a more than capable 2v2 player. The first step to get through the 3v3, and if you're Hoxer, you've been in and around the RLCS for a little while. You've had some achievements, but never won a LAN. You've never come close to doing that. It's very scary to step into the shoes of Daniel. That's what he has to do.
Although he's, 5'1" flat, he has got the biggest feet I've seen in the world. They are some gigantic shoes that Hox needs to step into, but a great pass between LJ and Arsenal, his two teammates, is going to be starting off Space Station with the goal in only 25 seconds as well, and it's been mostly that pressure for Space Station Gaming. And a great pass across from one to the other. LJ up for them 1-2 with the reset and down. That is wonderful play from Space Station Gaming.
I mean, maybe one positive with Daniel leaving is that LJ will be able to express himself a little bit more. That's the sort of play people were excited to see when LJ was brought into this team. It never quite materialized when he replaced Rettles. But now maybe he feels like the man. Maybe he feels confident. Maybe this is exactly what Space Station Gaming needed. Look at them go.
Isn't it mad, though, when you see a team that loses one of the best players in the world, but they didn't necessarily fit with that team, well, with the two teammates that they're with. Space Station Gaming have got a lot of room to grow into, trying to fill that void of Daniel, but LJ and Hoxer are a duo that I think will do very, very well for them. And people always said that I was never convinced about really was LJ. He's so good. He's so talented. Daniel, he requested that he join. He wanted LJ on his team. And I never really saw it. But now, when he has more space, when he has more time, when he has more opportunities, yeah, I absolutely believe the hype about him. Not just in this game as well, when we've seen him previously playing. Yeah, they've not done the best in the world, but LJ has been a great player on Space Station Gaming regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Space Station Gaming going for it as well. You had Arsenal there on the backboard, going for the freestyle plays, going for the confident plays, want to have some fun against Team Axel and enjoy themselves here in a potential qualification for Gamers 8. And Space Station Gaming couldn't have asked for any more in their debut as a team. It's almost 4, actually. Maybe they can ask for more because there's still 3.5 minutes left. Plenty of time to get themselves some goals and really get some belief under their belts, because that, as much as anything, is what they're playing for. Space Station Gaming are a team that will have the season as a whole in their minds, making it into future lands, making it to Worlds, and going forward long-term as a team.
2 minutes nearly having elapsed in this first game. Space Station still 3 goals to the good. Arsenal trying to pinch it round Turoko, and he did not do that. It's just, it's so addictive saying it. Saying Turoko. Turoko. There we go. I can just say Turoko. Taroko. I don't like that. I don't like Taroko.
And then let's move on. LJ is going to wait underneath Gimmick right here. Gimmick, the former world champion, the Season 6 master. He just spoon feeds the ball towards LJ. In front of him. He's got some help in front of him as well. That was Hoxer, wasn't it, clearing the way? It was Arsenal, I couldn't quite see, I'll be honest. But one of them was just clearing the path for him, and Space Station Gaming seemed to be entirely in sync.
What I'm liking seeing from Arsenal too is that he is taking on that third man role a lot better than I think he was previously. Yes, we've seen him pop off at events, we've seen him do fantastically well online, but Arsenal is a player that I think needs to be sitting a bit further back for his teams to thrive. He is an incredible player, but he is not necessarily at the level mechanically as frequently and consistently as we see LJ and Hoxha really get to. So I'm liking seeing what Arsenal's doing, playing that more facilitator role, making sure that he is passing, sending the ball off to his teammates, and clearing the way, as you said earlier.
This game looking more and more like it'll belong to Spacestation Gaming when the dust settles. But Soroka puts that one into the corner. Team Axel have woken up a little bit after going 3 behind, but good to see Spacestation Gaming still chipping up those pre-jumps. Set the fight to Team Axel as much as possible and make a statement here in game number 1 of this potentially long best of 5. In the air, gets the second touch, gets the flick reset, but it's just gone to the side of Toroko. And Tosi can come forward. I'll tell you what, a goal soon for Axel could open things right back up.
That looked like it could have been 2, but LJ managing to get the deftest of touches, manages to clear it away, and LJ again up so quick, already before I feel that initial touch was made. Arsenal to shoot on target, that's going to be open, but the opposite corner does get covered by the man Toasty.
LJ's coming in to set the shot, he does, still wants to be the big man for Space Station. I love this from LJ. I feel like they really needed someone to take their team by the scruff of the neck, because SSG are a squad that has been pretty much written off. You know, with Daniel leaving, people aren't talking about them in the race for any top 5s even. So them coming into events like this and doing well, obviously it's a load of money which they'll all want to win, and fair play to them. This was the statement they had to make, as they almost make it 4. Hoxha's turning around, gets the demo. Comes Arsenal, but one touch too many. A little bit too high, even for LJ in the form that he's having.
I'm intrigued who we see in the 1v1.
Oh,
that was nice though. Don't care about the 1v1s anymore. LJ manages to burn all of his boost for this assist. Onto that sideward, one then the second round gimmick above Toasty, and then Hoxha finally beating out Toroko. Great passing play from him. The 2 newbies onto that Space Station roster are astronomical.
Outclassed of Team Axel being. I believe they didn't qualify for the regional as well, so it's been a disappointing few days for Team Axel if this continues to go the way it's going. They're going to try and get something going, but it's just not really happening for them right now. Space Station seeing this one away. They've dominated their opponents in game number 1. Even a couple of half chances for Team Axel right at the end. They're going to come to nothing. Can they get something to build upon in either the 1v1s or 2v2s? I'm not sure it's going to happen, Stumpy. I think this one is going to be a clean 4-0 victory, maybe even 5 for Space Station. And what a welcome for their new teammate.
I wonder what they pick. I wonder if they pick 2s or 1s. Again, if you're just joining us, hello. We are doing a crew battle format. 3v3 in game number 1, then the losing team picks out of 2v2 or 1v1. If you're going 2v2, you have to be confident that you can beat literally a world record setter in LJ for getting the highest MMR. That is a very big claim. And with the player that he plays with frequently in Hoxha, they are completely unproven, Axel, in 1s and in 2s. I'd probably say go for 1s.
Yeah,
here?
I'd think so too. Do I agree? Do you know what? No, I disagree.
You don't have to.
I think they should go 2v2s because I think that they won't be afraid of some MMR. They'll tell themselves, oh, it's only MMR, you know, it's a load of rubbish, it doesn't mean anything, it's ranked. This is when it matters, okay? And sure, LJ does have that world record, but as of everything, it's so different. It's like saying, oh, that player's really good at free play. I bet they're going to score loads of good goals against us. It's just, it's not the same.
Higher chance. Higher chance, though. There's a higher chance of that. Would
Basically,
you rather play against somebody who is a free play merchant or who never did free play?
There's someone who never does free play, I guess.
Right.
You've got me over a barrel. Well done, Stumpy. You win this round.
Thank you, mate. All right. That's a lot of pirate references, too. Too many for me. They go with a 1v1. I called it. It's Arsenal against Toasty. Interesting. I did not see Arsenal taking these, but I love that. I love that going for him.
Well, do you love that, though? Going 1 goal behind straight away. Arsenal's
I'm so angry.
Experienced man in the team. Takes it upon his back and already just gets dived into by Toasty and goes 1 goal down. It's going to be a long old few minutes here in 1v1. Well, let's see. Let's see, Stumpy.
Arsenal going for the 1v1 has really shook me branches.
You shook it?
I am. It's not that Arsenal isn't... Arsenal is just not the player that I expected to see come in here. I don't know. It just feels peculiar to me.
It does feel odd, doesn't it? But I'm sure they've got their reasons, and maybe in the future when we can interview these players, there'll be no interviews today, but in general we can ask them what the logic was behind that. Because I'm thinking that myself. I'm thinking that mechanically Arsenal is probably the weakest of this team, but maybe it's an experience thing. Maybe they're a little bit. Why would they be spooked? Because they just won a huge game one.
Oh, Toasty slow rolling that one towards the net too. Sees Arsenal challenging, so wants to be getting it as much as he can. But Arsenal, he had a great challenge. He went for the low 50 on the air dribble, and he got the reset. But as he landed, he just moved far enough away from the ball so Toasty could get the pinch just a little bit further. And in 30 seconds, 3 goals scored. As you said, Cole, potentially quite a long match for Arsenal.
Oh, this is not looking good at all for Arsenal. He does manage to get back, and he's got some boost in the tank as well. He needs to get hold of this ball because so far, I'd love to see the ball touch statistics, but I'd say that it's been about 80% possession for Toasty. He seems to have it under his spell, under his wing. The 50-50 game a lot stronger for Toasty. He's taking his time, taking the pace of this one too. So Arsenal finding it tough to lay a glove on Team Axel and Toasty right now. I'm just not really sure what Arsenal can or will change in this, because it just seems that Toasty is superior.
Lovely shot. The shot into that bottom right corner is the only spot on the ground where he can score this. Arsenal spawns on that right-hand side of his net, and so then he has to be diving as far across as soon as he possibly can. And Toasty waits, sees where he's going to spawn, and then shoots in the opposite corner. Fantastic placement from him.
Arsenal really has to wake up pretty much now. 4 goals is doable, it's viable. A flick here would have helped for sure. See Arsenal just get some touches on the ball, but he doesn't quite have that second flick. And he also hasn't recovered fast enough, I don't think. Or maybe he will be able to scamper back in time, but Toasty, again, has complete control. Tries to get the old bounce dribble going. Quite valid on this occasion. We'll keep on going. Toasty there. Tipped over the top by Arsenal. And, I mean, Arsenal needs to change something desperately, Stumpy, and I'm just trying to figure out what that might be.
I mean, it's been better play from him in the last, not 2 seconds, in the last 30 seconds or so, but he's not led to a goal. He hasn't actually managed to get anything from it. He's just sort of delayed the inevitable, it's felt like. And Toasty's movement, he is running circles around Arsenal right now.
Yeah, it's sort of, this just feels like a mismatch to me. It feels like Toasty is completely on top. Arsenal had that one chance at the flick, but other than that, he's looking pretty boost-starved the whole time. If you look at the top left and top right corner, you'll see that normally Toasty has more in the tank. It's good defending there from Arsenal, hiding behind the ball, and then putting it into his own goal almost.
Tactical.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing, I'm sure. It could be a goal, and he's got one. All right, 250 left, 4 goals in it. Definitely possible.
100%. 1v1 is Insanio style. It does not matter if you've conceded 4. That is more than enough time, especially with over half the game done. Arsenal, with a good outplay of him too, manages to send it high once and then tries to fake it a little bit low and then goes for it again. So good movement from him, just sort of sending it towards the net. The 100 boost steal too. A shot straight on target, but just top right, a little bit too far.
That's a shame. It would have started to get a little bit more interesting had that one gone in. As it is though, Toasty just prods it back towards Space Station's half. And goes around. Slow play. Then he speeds up, gets the demo. Surely this ball is going to roll in time.
Oh, that's mean.
Just for a split second, Arsenal thought he could get back, but
I feel like it's so harsh when you see like that there, and Arsenal is like not moving. Then he goes, "Oh no, I need to," and then he just taps it in anyway. It's like he's made him out of breath for no reason.
5 goals. Again, is the target here for Arsenal. A couple of kick-off goals might help. Not if they go.
Might help Toast. Might help Toast.
Yeah, Toasty really needed that help with some kick-off goals.
What do we talk about now?
It's a Brazil. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
An interesting thing is that in Gamers Without Borders, you can have a squad of 4 players rather than 3, and we're seeing that on the A stream right now, where Troy have brought in S5 Cosmic, who recently took rank 1 in 1v1 online.
No! Oh, no, it's completely open. Sorry, I wasn't upset about S5 Cosmic.
I thought you really were again.
No!
Getting
Guy, what are you doing?
Oh dear.
I wanted to see Gyro take the one. No, Arsenal had just a straight up open net,
Yeah.
and just sort of missed really. With the reset though, he manages to score a little bit of a belter. Only 5 is the deficit, and he can score these wondrous goals, but just that one evaded him earlier.
Well, he was setting himself up for the naughty play, you know? That's the Arsenal way. He doesn't want to score some boring goal. He wants the special. He wants the ceiling play. He wants the little flick reset.
Is that the same as Arsenal, the football team?
The problem is that he always tries to walk it in. Is that what you're
No,
getting at?
absolutely.
It sounds a little bit like that's what you were getting at. In
No,
which
I'm
case,
getting at.
Great reference,
I'm getting.
bro.
You know, I hate when he'll reference that. Arsenal's starting to come back though, and I respect this a lot. He's managing to actually, as you said, change it up a little bit. Goes from an air draw bump, one touch, and then immediately aims for the man. Toasty is then sent to the backboard. Goal completely open. Only 4 is the difference.
What were SSG thinking, putting Arsenal on that early?
Shut it, Ginger.
4 goals needed. This suddenly becomes serious. If Stumpy can stop referencing ancient sitcoms, ancient now cancelled sitcoms, maybe we can focus on the Rocket League for a second. Arsenal going to get himself this boost. Good first touch from him. Go on, flick it over Toasty. Give us a match. Oh, that's a shame. That is a shame. That was going to be good, but Toasty's going to make it 8-3. Just for a second, I believe, Stumpy. And now it is indeed. Your maths are correct. It's back to 5.
The problem with Arsenal there,
What did he do?
he tried to walk it in.
Now, bear in mind, this is a North American audience. Does anyone know
It
what
is,
we're
it
talking
is,
about?
it is. If anybody, I'm not even looking at chat. If
I've
anybody in
got
chat knows the, if anybody in chat knows the reference, then 1 brownie point to you. If you don't know what the brownies are, then I'm sorry. 1 minute left, and it's Arsenal desperately trying to not make this double digits against him, but Toasty is battling every single time.
We've really hyped up 1v1s in the run-up to this event.
There are duds.
We've sort of said, oh, ones is the most intense game. It's so close. Any mistake, you'll be punished for. You'll never be able to concentrate.
With Arsenal's making lots more mistakes.
Well, the last one we saw, I think it was 8-0. Was Daniel against CPS. And now we've got a 9-3. So we've got a couple of big bad buddy boys to start off with.
That's fine, but bear in mind that some sports start as a dud and they get good as well.
Like what?
Like Liverpool versus Tottenham the other day.
Yeah. That's true.
There you go,
So
football
what you're
reference.
saying is 7 goals in 32 seconds.
Oh, that's cool. That was a sad stop. There's got to be like a big red button on the desk where you can just type GG.
Like the opposite of Britain's Got Talent with the gold buzzer. Sort of like a red buzz. A red buzz off.
What? Sorry, the red buzzer that they also have.
Oh yeah. But the difference is they don't have they don't have a mega red buzzer on any of the Got Talent.
It's pretty big.
No, but they've only got, what I'm saying is they've only got their individual ones. The gold one, if I press it, even if everyone else hates the person.
Yeah, you're insta through.
Insta through. There's no insta out. If you really happen to hate this person.
If you
just
really
press,
hate
yeah,
it.
they call it the red buzz off.
Would they?
If they wanted to.
Ant and Deck would.
I could sell that to Simon Cowell.
Ant and Deck would, yeah.
Yeah. And if Alan Deck would, so would I, Stumpy.
11-3. Axel are looking to be 1-all in the series. Good for them. But it goes back to 3v3 after this match. And then afterwards, a 2v2 with LJ and Hoxer will be having their pretty, I would say, potentially dominant. Potentially... What you want to get?
Big man Arsenal. He'll be like, don't worry, I got this.
You reckon after this, right? You know what?
He's
If
on his
Ian
way.
Comms goes, guys, put me in for the 2v2. I'd like LJ and Hoxer to collectively pull rank to just put themselves above Arsenal.
Do you reckon?
And say, maybe not, mate.
I think he played all right. Well, that was...
No, I want that analysis.
He got a flip reset.
He
If
did
I
actually, yeah.
had scored a flip reset, I'd be buzzing. I'd be well happy.
I know you would be.
You know? So that was pretty good. It wasn't very good, was it? I don't know why Arsenal did 1v1 there. I'm actually a little bit annoyed.
Are you okay? You're really going through it right now.
I'm just a little bit annoyed that like we've not had a close 1v1 yet. And that's it. That's the only one.
I mean,
series.
I thought this would go to 5, and so thus far we are on track for that.
Thus far. Game 3.
Don't do an inside joke.
It's not an inside joke. Everyone heard it. All right, chat. Who doesn't know what I'm saying when I go thus far? Everyone was there.
Okay, but I don't think anybody focused on it as much as we did.
I think they did. It was. I saw the.
What
comments
now?
on Twitch. People will remember thus far.
I really don't think they will. But if they do, fair enough. Another brownie point. Did anybody get the reference, by the way?
One person got it.
Nice. I'd like to know their demographic. Are they above 30? Probably.
It's 0-0 in the 3v3. Axel have brought themselves back into the series. And it was a tip-top performance from Toasty. And now they've got to do what they could not do in game 1, and that is stand firm against the Space Station Gaming attack. Because when the 3 of them play together, they're actually pretty good.
I mean, I feel like, 3v3 is going to be the one where either team can take it, but with Space Station having the edge. I think 2v2 is basically, I feel, not, I don't want to say locked in, but Toasty, he can't stop scoring.
I think Toasty's making his pitch to join Space Station instead of Arsenal. Is that look how well I can put it in the goal. That's actually a lovely little tip there. That was a tip-top Toasty tip. Right there, 1-0 to Team Axel, and that's a bit of a shame because you can see why Toasty's gone for that. He wants to play fast, he wants to be aggressive, he wants to, try and take the fight to Space Station, but sometimes if you try and be too speedy it can backfire, and that's what transpired against Team Axel. Now it's 2-0, is it? LJ goes for the double, in comes Hoxer, 2-0 in the top right corner, and Space Station Gaming already have a pair of goals to their name.
Starting off incredibly strong with LJ not quite managing to get that double. It falls back down towards Hoxer to be able to fall in and grab that last touch. And finally, Space Station Gaming, I think, feel themselves more in these 3v3s, right?
Yeah, this is their natural habitat. I mean, they're also not too bad at 2v2, as you alluded to earlier. So, I mean, maybe they were just trying to get over the 1v1s. Maybe they backed themselves in 3v3, and they certainly backed themselves in 2v2. They just wanted it to be done, so they were like, oh, go for it, Arsenal. Why not? Perhaps. It's still thrown me.
Right.
But maybe that's the logic there. Maybe it's a fairness thing, like, oh, if Hoxer and LJ are doing the twos, it's only fair if Arsenal does ones.
Maybe. Or maybe people are going to shout at us later and say, guys, Arsenal is like number 3 in the world 1v1. And I'm like, is he? Crumbs.
Yeah, but that logic I should be number 2.
What a fantastic shot from LJ. Manages to get it from Hoxer's in and out save. Receives it on the through ball to the ceiling and then punts it straight down. The touch does come in from Gimmick, but isn't able to do any... get enough touch to get it away from the net. 3-0. Space Station Gaming very much back on the horse.
I'll tell you what, Space Station Gaming are making a bit of a name for themselves here. The way they're playing against Team Axel, it's not just the amount of goals they're getting, it's the amount and the type of goals that they're scoring. Clean hits, confident hits, fun plays, exciting to watch. Space Station are going to win some I feel like over the last maybe year or so, they've been not bleeding fans, but bleeding belief, or people's belief in them. Maybe that's going to start to build back up based on what we're seeing here.
I feel like it'd be nice. I feel like that would be something that fans would be there for. To be able to go to a LAN and see SSG play again. Do you remember like at Worlds and stuff, when SSG are there, they have a huge amount of support. Somewhat drummed up by Red Hall's fans. I'm intrigued to see how that manages to go from now on, but they've still got a lot of fans from that era of their game. Yeah, I'd like to see SSG back as one of the top teams in North America. And North America's got so many. Hoxer is trying his darndest to put SSG back on top.
Look at this! Look at this little Doomsy dish. From the side, out, in. Little flap over to Roko as well. That's brilliant.
Flap.
These are such good goals that Space Station Gaming are scoring. I think I'm going to make these my Cool Cole 93 Dark Horse.
Whoa.
I think they're earning that right, mate.
What do I get a Cool Cole 93 Dark Horse?
Sure, every person gets one Cool Cole 93 Dark Horse.
Okay. I'm excited. I'm going to pick probably version 1.
Sure. Yeah, the real
I know not many people back them.
Yeah.
But I do. I just have, I've got a feeling.
It'll be a real Cinderella story if they can make the LAN, will it?
It really will be. I back them to, though. A lot of people are going to be, whoa, Stumpy, no. No, but I do. I truly back them. Spacestation Gaming. They've had 3 minutes. They've had 6 goals. That last one was just a great read from LJ, knowing that the ball can't go anywhere else. And another block out from Hoxer. Good chances for everybody on Spacestation Gaming to really flex these scoring muscles, as it was a real drought in Arsenal's 1v1.
It's a bit of a shame this isn't the best of 7, because I'd love to see a second 1v1. You know,
it's
like...
an Arsenal back in the pit, bloodied and bruised, saying, please keep me out. Guys, please. Maybe they vote and they just thought it'd be funny. I don't know.
Scott Sterling rocks up again, ready to have the ball slammed into his face by Toasty.
No.
Well, actually, Scott Sterling does his job pretty well, doesn't he? He actually makes the saves, I believe. It's been a few years since I've seen the Scott Sterling sketch. But I think he just constantly makes saves.
Yeah, he constantly makes saves, but he's like unconscious on the chair.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that. It's like Scott Sterling if Scott Sterling was also conceding.
Oh no. God, imagine being compared to Scott Sterling, but worse. You know Scott Sterling if he was also bad.
Oh no.
Oh, that's a long
No, he's got the
shot.
save. Toasty's there.
Okay. People in chat saying Scott Sterling can save. Like, guys, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't hit him while he's down. He can, he's Scott Sterling. So that's literally the joke. That's the joke.
6-0. This one's been
what a weird switch of a series.
I can't wait for the 2v2 that Team Axel wins 17-0 against like Arsenal and Arsenal's clone or something.
Oh, that'd be fun. They deserve that.
Who'd win in a clone 2v2 tournament?
50-50.
No, not like which version of Daniel would beat the other version of Daniel.
Either team by definition, I feel.
What I mean is, which player would be the best 2v2 teammate with their own clone?
Oh, that's a very good question.
I think Daniel.
You think Daniel?
Because he's quite defensive, and he's then happy to go forward when
That's
need
true.
be. You don't want like a pair of beast modes getting each other's way.
Oh no, you're silly.
Toes.
You're silly.
Okay.
You're silly, you're wrong, you're incorrect. I'm going to
Horser.
say 3 letters to you.
TRK.
Z. E. N.
Sizen.
Sizen, exactly. He would be able to rock up and smash it out. But no, yeah, I think Zen would be. Zen's just the best ones, and he's smashing it. Or Roas. Just basically, it just comes down to...
TRK. All the 3-letter people.
Any 3... yeah. Or arse. Arsenal. ARS. So that was a fantastic win there for the boys of Axel. Spacestation Gaming. No, sorry, rather, Spacestation Gaming managed to take it. I've shook myself. Whoever wins it is going to be going through to face off. Face off versus G2. The 2v2 though is going to be very interesting. It is going to be Arsenal and Arsenal's clone versus Taroko and Toasty.
I think that's the most I've actually talked for real. Sorry, that really got me. Right, okay.
I'm
2v2.
very sorry.
LJ and Hoxer are disappointed. Arsenal can't believe it. He's on the sideline. Well, I wait.
He's on the bench. That's put me in.
He's having a right shot.
He's in free play. He's in free play.
Alright, okay. 2v2, serious. There is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars that these teams are competing for. It's a big, big moment. The 2v2. The 1v1 was, let's just say, a write-off. I don't know what happened there. Spacestation Gaming have licked their wounds. They've smashed Axel 6-0 in the meantime. And now we have game 4. Hoxer and LJ. They know each other's games.
The 2v2 team that we thought was going to be coming out as well. But with Taroko and Toasty, I mean, Toasty is clearly no slouch. Taroko, again, unproven in these in the 2v2s rather, and the 1v1s so far in this tournament because of the open qualifier just being
LJ's
just
so
being that
good.
3v3. That's not just LJ, mate. Did you see Hoxer get in the demo?
It's a lovely demo, but look at the second touch. Look at this. Ready? One touch. 2.
It was very nice.
He got it on his roll. The Toasty roll.
I suppose you could.
What a finish that was. I actually love LJ. He's going to be the player of the split. I'm calling him. All this hype about Daniel, about beast mode.
Remember you called Braziers the player of the split or whatever?
I called him the rookie of the season because I forgot that he made
the rookie of the
Regional 2
season in his second
spring.
season.
As if you knew that he made Regional 2 in spring.
Yes, I did.
How did you know that?
I just did.
Well done.
I'm clever.
You are really smart.
This is going to be LJ's rookie season. He's going to break out.
You put the word rookie in my mouth, all right?
He's going to be the rookie of the year.
Get the word rookie out your mouth. I never said that. I just said it's going to be his split. Okay?
You think LJ is going to be the player of the split?
Relative speaking. Like
No. What were your words, Cole? Because you, relatively speaking, what's you reckon he's going to be good for him?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm calling it LJ. LJ's the man. LJ is the
player
man.
of the split is what
Yes.
you're saying.
Yeah. Quote me. Quote me on this right here, right now. Someone clip it. LJ will be the player of the split. I really
God, I
wish
wish that was LJ.
Oh man, that would have been my favourite moment in Rocket League
God, I wish
history.
that was LJ.
If that
There was
LJ.
every part of me that was
Me
hoping.
too.
Just teleport, do something, let the universe have the nameplates wrong.
Oh, that's a shame.
Unfortunate. 1-0 though, still to Space Station with a 2-1 in the series so far. Win this and you go through the honour of playing against G2, who are doing actually pretty well versus Koi. They managed to win 2-1 in their 3v3. They won 6-2 with Atomic versus S5 Cosmic using that super sub.
He was brought in and then they lost 6-2.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Oh,
that.
man.
And Koi chose it. They'd be like, lads, look at our super sub. He's lost. he's lost that quite spectacularly. And then game 3 was another 3v3 that they managed to win another 2-1.
Wow, well done G2. PlayStation on the cusp of winning their first series. Sunatsul have certainly got some tricks in the tank, so has to be careful here that Tosi doesn't just completely charge him down straight away. And he's got 100 boost as well. His teammate Taroko in, so a quiet series I would say Taroko. He misses that victory set. Affects that LJ as well. That one could be sneaking in, but it's saved by Hoxer. LJ's turn now, my future player of the split. What's he got in the tank? Oh! He's going to divert it towards Hoxer, or is he not quite? Taroko stands still behind.
A very close 2v2. Normally you see 3 or 4 goals really come in. Hawks though going up for that double. A good block, but it does pinch out into the corner. What were you going to say? You breathe.
No, I was having a breath, you know.
Oh, yeah, little snuffle. Oh, it's a close shot. Can't quite find its way in the opposite corner. Now LJ pushing on the opposite side of the pitch. Only a 20 boost to Roko. It's going to have that boost stolen away from him as well. Just has to commit on this. And gets that mid. Lovely movement from him. LJ, though, pre-jumping. Sees Toasty, but one touch over the top. Toasty saving it away.
Toasty's been really impressive this series. Apart from just the 1v1 in threes, he's looked good. And in 2v2 now, yeah, he's shown his worth. Against, need we remind you all, the man with the world record in 2v2 alongside Hoxer as well. You can see why he's so good. Hoxer, he gets the ball and he knows exactly what to do. The composure is there. Just boosts his way through that ball. And Taroko had no chance of coming back. Now there's 37 seconds in 2v2, Stumpy. Is that enough time?
Absolutely, a kick-off goal, and then maybe one in slightly extended play, but it all relies on how this ends up going to Roku. With the mid-boost, with the ball slightly behind him, has to take an awkward turnaround, not much power, and LJ challenging too. Hoxer knows he can go to the backboard, and with a 100 boost pick up as well, he can progress down the pitch. With a reset and Toasty in there, he sends it high, top corner, the dunk. Not quite successful on the chance, and a goal needs to come in these 20 seconds.
Oh, the demo's not going to help though. LJ can just slow this one right down. Toasty desperate to pitch that ball towards the opposite goal.
Good play.
Not going to matter though. Hoxer was there and waiting. 7 seconds left. It's looking like Space Station Gaming are going to win their first foray in competitive Rocket League with their new trio. Hoxer is looking like the player that they need. They go through in the upper bracket. It's a top performance from all of them, and Space Station Gaming win out.
Fantastically played as well. It was the confusing 1v1 early on in the series that I think threw us and made us all be a little bit goofy and gaffy and a little bit silly. But in the end, SSG managing to get that done. Axel will be dropping into the lower bracket. They'll be facing off versus Koi. That is going to be coming up later today, as is the other matchup that were the two losing teams. That is Optic Gaming versus Boulevard. And bear in mind, you don't need to win this tournament to be going through to Gamers 8. You just need to get through into the upper bracket final and the lower bracket final. You get top 4 and you will be in. Otherwise, we're going to have a little old break here on the B stream. Afterwards, you will be able to catch, let me have a gander, it's not been filled in, you'll be able to catch another series of the Rocket League. How exciting.
I like Rocket League.
Every day it feels like there is a new crisis. Families displaced by violent earthquakes and wars. Warm hearts sleeping under cold blankets of stars. Lives destroyed and washed away. Families fleeing into the unknown. But look closer. See the hope everywhere. See the ones running towards disasters to help. Compassion exists all around the world. Kindness is healing wounds, bringing hope for a brighter tomorrow. Look closer and see the many families like Layla's, who've lived through unimaginable hardships and yet haven't given up. Please don't give up on those forced to flee. Donate now.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Welcome back, everybody, to Gamers Without Borders, powered by the Savvy Games Group. I'm Stumpy, joined by Cole, and we have just witnessed Spacestation Gaming take down Axel 3-1, but that was in the uppers. My word, that was above us. That was the floor up there. Since then, we've gone downstairs, and now we found ourselves in the lower bracket. Ooh. So let's have a little look at how the show has gone thus far. Cole, talk us through it.
So far, we have seen version 1 defeat Boulevard by 3-1. Boulevard looked good in the 3v3s, winning the first one, losing the first 3v3 by just 1 goal, and then winning the second 3v3 by a couple of goals. But sadly, the 2v2 and 1v1 weren't quite it for those guys, as we predicted. As for Complexity, as for Optic Gaming, I was watching them earlier on as much as I could on the A stream against Complexity, and they ran Complexity very close indeed. Even the fourth game was a 1v1 between AJ, who's actually one of the better, if not the best, 1v1ers left in this North American bracket. He lost the 1v1 against CRR, but it was only by 1 goal. So, close matches between Complexity and Optic Gaming, and I think they will certainly be favourites against Boulevard coming in here.
Yeah, Optic are going to be the stronger team. If you want to be watching Koi versus Team Axel, however, that is going to be over on the main stream. That is twitch.tv/GWBPS_EN. Basically, remove the B. We are the B, remove that bad boy, and then you find yourselves over on the main stream. So, Optic versus Boulevard. Let's have a little look and see what's going on with them. I am intrigued, Cole, because with Optic, they're a very interesting team, especially with their new look. If we have a quick look at the A-stream schedule before that, though, we're now on the Complexity Gaming versus version 1. Also, yeah, that's what's going to be going on now. And then over on the after that, it's going to be G2 versus Space Station Gaming. And then we're going to be covering the lower bracket on here the entire rest of the day.
Yeah, it's exciting times. Rocket League all over the place. I love these early days in events when there is just matches going on the A stream, matches going on the B stream. You've got to love it, seeing all the Rocket League come together at you at once. And as you mentioned earlier on, Stumpy, it is time for the lower bracket. We have Optic Gaming versus Boulevard coming up very, very soon. And then Koi versus Team Axel a little bit later on too. So it's exciting times. And yeah, this next matchup, Optic Gaming versus Boulevard, let's have a little chat about Optic, because they're looking pretty good. You know, they're a team that I think certainly towards the end of last season they were written off a little bit. They didn't quite have that bite in attack. But Rettel's moving there. He really has stepped up, and AJ is obviously one of the most flair players that you will ever see. It's just they're a well-oiled machine, and they're entertaining as well.
I think this is one of the formats that's going to benefit them too.
Yes.
In a raw 3v3, they aren't going to be the team that's going to be winning them necessarily. They'll get to a quarter, and that'll be good. They'll get to a semis, and that'll be brilliant for them. When you look at that team, though, with AJ, Rettles, and Magic Bear, they are 3 very, very competent players. You have AJ and Magic Bear, who are 2 fantastic 1v1 players, with AJ being the standout 1v1 player. I'm intrigued about their 2v2 team, because previously they fielded AJ and Magic Bear, which I agree with, which I like. I feel like they've played with each other a little bit less, though, than AJ and Rettles would have done. But start us off, Cole, we've got a 3v3, and I feel Optic. They are El Favorato?
Yes, they are. But we have to remember that earlier on with Boulevard, they proved that even at this level, either of these teams can win a 3 versus 3. There is no way you can write off Boulevard right here, especially after getting that game earlier on against version 1, one of the most hyped teams. One of the teams that were expected to go far in pretty much every event. Boulevard got themselves a 3-1 victory against them. So Optic Gaming coming up against that. Optic did win the opening 3v3 earlier on against Complexity. It was the only game they did win, so they do have previous in starting off well in these series. Let's see if they can keep that going. Optic are favourites here, but don't write off Boulevard.
And we say that they're favourites, but interestingly, they qualified through the lower bracket of those open qualifiers. And who sent them there? It was Boulevard. Boulevard took down Optic on the winner's side to send them to the lowers. So bear in mind that was just a raw 3v3 bracket. That was not representative necessarily. But 3v3, these two are going to be toe-to-toe with, if anything, Boulevard having that advantage.
Well, let's see if Boulevard can keep that one going then. That's a really good point, something that I had not considered, that Boulevard will have the upper hand mentally, perhaps, going into this matchup right here. Bear's knocking on the Boulevard door. AJ tries to swing it open. Saved a couple of times by Boulevard players. Optic have started very well. Incisive passing. Good mechanics from them as well. The pressure remains on. AJ hits the post. And Delta just manages to avoid, just sending that one straight to his opponent. And seeing it nest from the back of his own net.
1 minute 30 has elapsed, and Magic Bear finds himself on the right-hand side, challenging versus Alraz. Bear in mind earlier that we saw these teams take place. I was about to point out Delta as being the man that managed to get a couple of goals when they were playing previously. Alraz with a great 50, and Delta swooping in with Rettles thinking that's going to the corner. I've got time to get boost here. No, Delta is there.
Yeah, Alraz not just getting clean 50-50, also continuing to boost through it to send AJ away and clear the path for his teammate. Good lead for Boulevard. It could be a second one here. Magic Bear called into action at his near post. It's a great touch into the centre. The Boulevard player trying to build upon what they earlier on with that first goal. Love that from Boulevard. Not just resting on their laurels, keeping going. There's a pass into the centre. ZPS thinks about coming in against Magic Bear. Magic Bear had a pretty good sense that ZPS wasn't going to overcommit that much, so can slow things down. And now that leads to an Optic Gaming attack. Rettles on the side. Magic Bear waiting in the centre. Rettles over the top. RS sends it out wide. It's a fast-paced 3v3 to get us going in this series.
Approaching half-time, Boulevard though still with that lead. AJ Central absolutely shanked above the crossbar though by his offending player. Magic Bear wanted to continue this push. Good chances really starting to emerge for Optic Gaming with a good bit away. However, it's going to be falling back down to the defense of Optic Gaming on the blue side. ZPS proving a defender, and that means that a little bit more conservative play to come out from Optic.
They're able to speed it up as soon as they need to. They feel that they can. But they're being pretty safe with their rotation so far. You'll often see 2 of them on that midway line, overcommitting, putting anything away to them. But the last thing they want to do is give away a second goal and go 2-0 behind. It could happen anyway with ZPS trying to angle that one goalwards. They're quite able to. Zelda just careens off the ceiling. Bear's now coming in to send it to the side. Boulevard matching Optic Gaming every step of the way. Not just a smash and grab here. They've got the mechanics to play with too. ZPS. Decent wins today in his own right. Alraz keeps the attack going. Boulevard's starting to up the pace, and Optic Gaming are just beginning to struggle somewhat.
AJ on that left-hand wall with 0 boost. He has to try and pick up the 100. He does manage to, and now a chance to then go for this attack. Can't get the 50 in the sky. Magic Bear actually committing with him, and with 90 seconds, time ticks down, but the goal is left completely open and vulnerable, and AJ is the one to strike.
Such a shame as far as Boulevard are concerned. They did so much work, and then a couple of bumps from Magic Bear, a nice little quick turn from AJ, and it's all undone with 85 seconds left of this first game. Such an important goal. You win the 3v3, you have so much more confidence going into the 1v1 or 2v2, whatever turns up next. AJ has the ball on his roof, wants to get the flip reset, and does underneath Alraz, and that's the difference between these two teams.
Getting that 1v1 play out, essentially. AJ versus Alraz, and it is an all-star showing from AJ. Falls to the ground after faking it high. Optic Gaming managed to secure that lead with 1:20 remaining.
Now it's time for Boulevard to try and speed things up more than they would want to. We're having to play this way for the vast majority of this game, and now suddenly it's their opponents who find themselves squeezed and pressed for time. AJ can just wait underneath here as Retzel sends that one into the centre. AJ could make it 3, almost does. It's the crossbar, and Magic Bear again turns it down. Lets Boulevard in. Optic staying disciplined with their rotations, never overcommitting. 2 men back behind the ball at all times. Rettles changes that. He goes in front unexpectedly. That's why he gets the demo. Alraz does excellently to come away with the ball.
Up high is Rettles, finding AJ on the side, and it's just a matter of speed here for Optic. They want to try and keep the ball nice and lofty, try and burn off as much boost as they can from Boulevard. ZPS dropping low towards Delta, does not take that shot immediately, instead challenges versus AJ on the backboard. Rettles to remove that final man in the middle, sending ZPS all the way back. It just becomes a lot more nervy with the final 20 ticking down.
Nervy times now for Boulevard. They have to get involved, but Optic Gaming have the ball. First, they have to wrestle it off them. Job 1 is done. ZPS takes a demo as well. Delta has a chance if he can get the flip reset, but he just couldn't quite get underneath it.
Final 10 seconds, finally seeing AJ push further and further. A pass across. Alraz to shoot. Rettles to save. It was just such a safe shot towards the middle of the net. Chance for a 0-seconder. Magic Bear from the backboard. A great push by Boulevard. In the end, however, seeing that Optic just had the ability to keep the ball away, keep it lofted, burn that boost, burn that clock, and they take down game 1 in the 3v3. This is Crew Battles. Will they be picking a 2v2 or a 1v1 Boulevard?
Good question. Yeah, that's the only advantage of losing that first game. You do get the choice. So do they try and avoid AJ in the 1v1 straight away, or just charge straight into him and take the fight in that direction? I just want to say it's a little bit frustrating, that shot at the end. I think it was Alraz who had an opportunity.
Yeah.
He had space.
He can hook shot it. He can leather
Take
it to
touch,
like a
get
better
50-50, call his teammates in, get it on the backboard so someone else is flying in. Instead, he thought, let's get it on target, because what if I miss? That, I imagine, is the thought process that was going through his mind at that moment. And
it was a shot with safety on.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do more. You have to be braver.
Yeah, go no safety, see what you can send. But regardless, Optic managed to take that one. And intrigued to see, because AJ is going to be one of the best 1v1 players in this tournament. But 2v2, they hardly slouch at, do they? Like, it's AJ and Magic Bear, theoretically. Like, that is a very scary duo. I would assume 2v2. That would be my shout. And we do have 2v2.
Yeah, AJ and Magic Bear, who so far, though, have not won their only 2v2. They lost it to Razebull and CRR. It's 3-2, so it was a close one. So let's see if CPS and Delta do a little bit more. Last time around against version 1 in the 2v2, they lost 4-1. That's right, they put up a fight. They kept them at arm's length as long as they could, but it just wasn't quite enough. I want to see ZPS and Delta attack AJ and attack Magic Bear a lot more than they did against V1.
You absolutely can't sit back. You can't slouch, because Magic Bear and AJ will be putting on mechanical plays towards you. AJ going for the fake bump. In the end, Magic Bear just takes the shot versus EPS, who just waits patiently in the net. Delta, the sidewall. AJ trying to go up to that challenge versus EPS, but the speed is there for Magic Bear. Towards the backboard, Delta is up, does get beaten round. The double touch coming in, but going far too wide.
It's a nervy little start. It always is in 2v2. It seems slower, and then it suddenly springs into life. With moments like that, ZPS charging down Magic Bear, adjusting the pace of play unexpectedly as far as Optic Gaming is concerned. But good safe play from them.
Good demo.
That opens them up completely, and it's just swept away by AJ.
You just see, in that moment, ZPS sitting like a fish in a barrel, and Magic Bear drops a stick of dynamite. Takes him out. AJ has a completely open net to tap it in on, and Optic Gaming, they are going to be taking that first goal.
That line would work a lot better against Koi.
I'll be reusing it then.
Yeah, do. Reuse it. I won't point it out, I promise.
No?
I would never. 1-0 Optic. Could be an equaliser somehow. CPS and Delta both fancy a bite of the cherry. It's CPS that gets it.
ZPS gets completely bumped into that ball as he finds the ceiling. What a touch. Does actually dodge into it too. Didn't need Delta to bump him, but the team play does manage to work out regardless. Minute 20, and that is leveled up yet again.
So goals in 2v2. I think the ones that we've seen so far today have been pretty tight when actually in 2v2.
Ooh.
Normally expect to see this, a kick-off goal or two. Some easy ones, some free ones, but Boulevard won't say no.
Delta just managing to squeeze it past. Very much threading the needle of both players that cheated up very close. AJ was centimetres away from Magic Bear. So intrigued that managed to sneak its way through.
So Gaming did find themselves behind in the first game.
Nice. That's nice.
As you can tell, they don't tend to panic if they do go a goal or two down.
That is wonderful. Magic Bear getting the touch over one and then sort of slows it down, fakes it, and then wants to use ZPS's momentum completely against him. ZPS pushes too far into the net, gets past that halfway line, and at that point, you're going to be a victim to somebody shooting behind you that you just can't catch.
Bear and AJ starting to wake up a little bit, but Boulevard have made them sweat, at least so far for now. When they have the ball, they are looking mighty capable of getting a few goals right now against Optic Gaming. Bear takes out one of the Boulevard players and have a huge demo. They have been big so far in this 2v2. I think they've had at least one, maybe a couple of goals that have been because of bumps, if not demos. And scored directly after one or two of them. Just slows things down. ZPS is there. He wants to get a better first touch, but it's a little bit wayward, so he won't be able to do too much of the ball here. AJ just bounces after him anyway. Delta can come in is the long and short of it. AJ surely isn't going to miss here, but it is more good pressure for Boulevard something.
I love these passes back and forth too, because it's stretching Optic as thin as possible. Delta just giving away the ball on that chance though, and now it finally relinquishes pressure over towards Magic Bear with 30 boosts and a reset. Gets over ZPS, but Delta's there to wait. Does actually get a touch. The trail does turn blue, but the dunk is not successful, at least shot-wise anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Delta had to be careful that he wasn't completely dunked there, so he actually did his job pretty well. It's a great challenge from AJ. ZPS to be all sorts of careful. Magic Bear, I've noticed, he will never overcommit to the ball. He is one of the more grounded players that we've seen so far today. Just waiting for his moment, never wasting a jump, only coming up when he can, definitely get there, leads him to be able to make these dribbles towards the goal.
AJ up past that midfield line with only 20 boost. He gets it so wonderfully far. And 2 minutes now remaining, and these two teams tied up with 2 apiece. Magic Bear to shoot on target, but with Delta jumping nice and early, can block it away. ZPS flicking over the top of Magic Bear. AJ to receive with 40 boost, but no res. Oh, sorry, does get the reset. I don't know how on that chance. Yeah, I know. Magic Bear taking one pretty lame shot towards the net, and the pressure can continue.
90 seconds left. Just waiting for one of these two teams to really commit to things. It's been a bit of a quiet phase of the 2v2 for a while, which you can see by ZPS pretty much hovering, waiting for AJ to come forward to him. And almost own goaling. We saw a nice little own goal a series ago. Who was it who scored it? Toasty, I think it was. That was almost another one from ZPS. Whip on the ball when sending out wide. In the end, it's worked out pretty well. Just can come forward again. Delta's there. Takes a second, takes on almost another second. ZPS in the centre, but he's not going to win this race, is he? For a second again. I think the Optic going to get that one past the Boulevard defence. 55 seconds, pressure's increasing.
Chances starting to emerge yet again for Optic with 60 boosts on the backboard and a complete miss. It just manages to bounce its way in. Did AJ get the little touch here on that backboard? Oh no, it was just that first one. Nothing happened from there. A complete whiff on the backboard, and just the angle was perfect. A devastatingly slow roller towards the net, and Optic getting the lead.
That's the last thing you want to see. Just a free goal for Optic. Boulevard working so hard to stay in this one, but one miss on the backboard, especially in 2v2. And it's just going to punish you time and time again. Magic there, and that is what happens, Stumpy. You make one mistake, it leads to more than one goal against.
39 seconds, and Magic Bear giving them that 2-goal difference. ZPS, I think he thought he was going to go high. He thought Magic Bear would try and go for something a little bit special, but instead he manages to just take it towards the bottom, manages to send it low, and AJ going for that fake kickoff with Magic Bear. Oh, he misses the open net.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm laughing like it doesn't mean too much, but 2 goals is very different to 3 goals, even with 25 seconds left in a 2v2.
Oh, just make it 3 then.
No.
Never mind.
AJ's like showing some flair and messing about. It's not quite time for that. Again, it's a 2v2. They can easily be a couple of goals. All they need is one chance, Boulevard, and then a kick-off goal after, especially when they've already got a kick-off goal in this match. But Optic seem comfortable enough to be able to just see this one away, and it does now seem that that is what is going to happen. It's going to be 2-0 Optic Gaming, and they will go within one game of avenging their loss in the Open qualifiers.
I mean, the fact that what was their score in the Open qualifier? Because versus Boulevard, because everyone, as we said, it was going to be a 3-0, and Boulevard 3-0'd them.
I thought it was a 3-0. I didn't dare say. I should have been braver.
You should have done, you silly, silly man. It was 3-1, 2-0, 3-1, and Boulevard then went through. But yeah, I mean, Optic just seeming like the better team right now, but they go into another 3v3, where Boulevard still have got that advantage there, 3-1 in 3v3s versus Optic. So I think you'd have to look to them, but with AJ and Magic Bear, they have looked really quite fantastic.
Yeah, they're looking good together. That was a closer 2v2 than I think the 2-goal difference suggests. That really could have gone either way, that one. But all you can do is move forward into the 3v3. Let's see what Optic Gaming can conjure up if they can win this one comfortably and progress forward to the upper bracket semi-finals. Still a couple of wins away from qualifying for Gamers 8. That's what all these teams want to do. They are desperate to stay out for charity, of course. They want to make it there to the big land in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia surely will be met by players like AJ.
Magic Bear as well, finding him, continuing that 2v2 synergy. The double touch from the backboard. You see Alraz and Delta both jump, desperately hoping that the ball flies low enough for them to be able to clear it away. Instead, though, Optic Gaming continue this trend of scoring wonderful plays.
It's starting to get away from Boulevard just a little bit. This is where concentration levels have to be insanely high. ZPS will be able to get a 50 on this one.
Ooh.
Well read by Rettles, just doing his job, staying tidy at the back. Delta in front of AJ, but again, AJ is just waiting. And Optic Gaming, that's been a current thread for them throughout this whole series, just waiting for the Boulevard touch or shot, sitting back that extra 5 meters from the ball and letting Boulevard come to them.
Chance in the midfield, though, for AJ to be pushing along a little bit further, trying to go for that ground pinch that we saw. Who was it early that was trying to trying to get them? Daniel trying to get those ground pinches. So trying to maybe just continue with them. And a great 50 from Alraz. He has been bench pressing all the way down the pitch.
And flying as well. So strong are his arms that he can take to the skies and flap his arms and fly. And then he gets a huge 50-50 at the end of it. Ushering in that Red Reaper as he makes it 1-1 in Boulevard. Well and truly back in this 3v3. They've never given up for Boulevard. This series has been pressure from Optic Gaming. Boulevard have got themselves some goals, and they've just never been able to be shaken off. So credit to them for that for sure, because they are on the cusp of going out of Gamers Without Borders. And that's a sad thing, because I've liked the way they played, but no time for sadness. Let's just enjoy that goal.
No way does ZPS read this. He's up for this touch, doesn't manage to get in the way for the second one, and completely reads AJ. The second goal for Boulevard is a beauty.
Got it in them, mate. Boulevard have that in them. They just can't see out a game at the moment, and this is where they'll start to think back to their history of 3-0ing Optic in the 3v3 only qualifiers for this event. Can they do it again? They're to the ceiling! The 1-2 punch, and Boulevard go 3-1 up.
Boulevard's backboard is just being battered as often as they possibly can. They're making sure that Optic are not safe when it goes high, and then when it comes back down low, they are conceding with that dabbing Reaper flying out of the net. You can see why Boulevard have got the better record against them in these 3v3s.
I feel like Optic are going to have nightmares about that Red Reaper, because it's coming forward all too often. It could be coming forward again. And suddenly the Optic Gaming game plan of just letting Boulevard come onto them has backfired, because now they need to chase. They need players like, I mean, this is where you look towards AJ and say, do something magic. We need you to wake us up. There's still time, but a couple of goals can feel so far away when a team can defend as doggedly as Boulevard.
I think I'll also go for those attacking plays. They've not just scored a couple of terrible goals, they have actually made sure that they are outclassing Optic on these 3v3 matches.
This one's over the top, Magic Bear set it away. Credit to Optic, they have for the most part defended their backboard well. I know the last goal was from it, on one of the rare times they actually let it loose. Jay,
he's still there.
Tries to see this one going. Yeah, he let his boost take him forward towards the ball, but it wasn't quite enough to win the race. There was no opponent there he would have got there. Rettles wants to flip this one forwards. Does. AJ's not going to land in time, and Magic Bear tries to close it down, but ZPS, he charges it down.
It's
CPS has been the standout for me for Boulevard so far in these series, but he's not able to save that one, and there's only one goal in it left.
It was a nice simple shot too from Magic Bear. Does not overcomplicate it. Just catches from Alraz's pretty terrible clear from the backboard to flick it gently towards the net. And now Optic Gaming cut the deficit down to just the one with 2 minutes 12 remaining. They win this and they go through onto that lower bracket quarterfinals. If you lose this one for Boulevard, they are gone. But if they win, Cole, they've got a 1v1 versus presumably AJ.
Always exciting to see these 1v1s as they're starting to bubble up, but maybe we won't get the chance. AJ shoots into the bottom corner, but it's not going to find its way there. Magic Bear around the corner, wants to get the dish. Again, he can't either. To the ceiling with the ball. How's Rettel's first touch? It's a little bit heavy. Almost manages to maneuver his car above it and do something with it, but not quite to be. But Optic Gaming, since scoring that second goal, have been all over Boulevard yet again.
Rettles to pass it central, nearly caught out by Alraz. Magic Bear was there, but Delta to save. He has been all over the pitch so far with no boost though and getting dribbled away by Magic Bear. He is going to be shut down somewhat.
Boulevard looking like they're more than happy to defend for the next 80 seconds. Optic are coming upon them. AJ to the side wants to get this little second touch out wide.
I felt it would have been better if he didn't get it.
The face.
Like Rettles was there, like try and fake it. I appreciate it was quite quick and it's very retrospective, but I feel like just going for a couple of fakes on these instead of actually slamming the ball as often as you can, they will do Optic some good because Boulevard are respecting every touch that they're putting up.
You might be right, perhaps a bit telegraphed so far from Optic. To mix up that approach, AJ, he's there. It's half a touch over Alraz. Boulevard defending so well, and the final pass isn't there for Optic.
No.
Instead, it's the complete opposite. They've thrown that chance away, and it's 4-2 to Boulevard.
With a weak pass down, completely read by Delta, the man who apparates in the worst of places if you're an Optic Gaming player, manages to get the fourth for Boulevard. 43 seconds left. Optic needs something big off the kickoff.
A huge read from Boulevard. Optic too predictable in the end in the 3v3. You can certainly see how the Open Qualifier did go against them between these two teams. Whereas just sends that one forward. Magic Bear does pick out Rettles. Maybe if he can tee something up, give his team a chance. But Boulevard are defending too strongly, and they're counter-attacking too well. And Optic Gaming have been out of ideas for the last minute or so, and Boulevard are going to run out deserving winners in Game 3 of this best of 5.
And it means that we will be getting a 1v1, and I hope it's good. Issue is, it's AJ.
Yeah,
AJ
true.
is too good that he makes... he has lost, but he also lost against CRR, a man that got to the grand finals of Gamers 8 on his 1v1 ability.
Now, Stumpy. It was
Go on,
3
mate.
goals, and it was dead, but now it's 2 goals, and it's less dead. 17 seconds in a 3v3, a couple of goals needed. It is possible. Let's see
Take
how
it
this
away.
kickoff is. Can Optic do anything there?
I like that.
Lose it on purpose. Magic Bear has
Yeah.
a pass. Rettles is up.
Pass?
Rettles put it away.
Pass?
Oh my goodness. Stumpy Goblin. Magic might be occurring.
Magic might be occurring, but he was only the assisting player in that play. Back towards Rettles from the backboard. Taps it down. Middle of the net. Only 1 goal separating Optic and Boulevard now. Will we see different kickoff strats appear?
Take 2. Can Optic Gaming repeat the
Good
trick?
demo.
Rettles is in charge of the ball. He's in front of it. Oh, he wanted to take out CPS.
Still good, it's still
Not
good.
quite able to, but he does get the ball in the end. Here's AJ. No second ball, no bump. Delta does whatever he can to stay in the way. 0 seconds, and it's going to be heroics from Boulevard. 5-4 in the end, and a lot closer than they thought that game was going to be.
It was a tale that could have been much more exciting if we managed to see them take it right at the end, get another fantastic kickoff play. But that goal was wonderful. I enjoyed that a lot. I like the kickoff strats. I like people going for them, being different, going for demos, whatever it ends up being. So, yeah, Optic doing a great job to try and claw it back, but not quite. And now, because it's crew battles, we find ourselves with a 1v1. Cole, I have a single question for you.
Ask it, and ye shall have thy answer.
You could have just said yes. Is it going to be a good 1v1?
Yes,
Oh, no.
it is. It's going to be close.
Okay.
It's going to be hard fought. AJ's
Please.
going to come into this one sad and frustrated that his team have already lost in a 1v1. this is where the fight is going to be. Okay, I mean they will be against ZPS, who did lose 8-0 earlier on to Daniel, but it's a different kettle of fish. You know, it's big man AJ to Daniel. It's a flair based. Yeah, he wants to chuck himself at the ball. He wants to score some fancy schmancies. Daniel's just so solid.
It's a different kettle of fish, but it's still ultimately like a shark in a box. Like, it's still scary. It's still not going to be an easy matchup by any means. It's a different opponent, but the quality is still there.
ZPS in a box, if you will.
Very nice.
Ooh, it could be 1-0 to ZPS.
Oh,
He's boxed AJ in for sure. And AJ just watches that one hit the post. And ZPS correctly reverts. AJ's chance now. And what is it with
Ground
ZPS
play.
and getting ground played? Yeah. As soon as the ball touches the floor, is ZPS in the trouble?
Is it because he commits too high on these plays? Yeah, he jumps. He
doesn't know what to do, does he?
It's awkward because he doesn't know how to cover that. You have to play your card as late as you possibly can on every single play that you possibly can. ZPS gives it away quite early, misses that mid boost as well, so AJ's now got a lot for this pressure. The air duel bump potentially going to be coming in, instead he just goes to the top corner instead. And a bump, AJ sending him down the pitch. Can't be getting a shot from this angle, however.
The chain dashes from AJ, but it might backfire. ZPS
It does.
just sends that one in. He's at least broken his duck in this one, but it didn't do against Daniel. Gets himself a goal.
What?
Broken his duck? You heard that phrase?
Broken his duck.
Yeah, it's a
Even your phrases.
It's not that weird of a phrase. Breaking one's duck means not
Breaking
being on
his
zero.
duck?
It means you're not on zero anymore. It's perfectly normal to say break your duck.
Breaking. You slip that in as if I'd get it. You're as bad as Stax, who the other day made a reference from 1953.
And then got annoyed that no one else got it.
And got annoyed, being like, no one got my reference. Has anybody in chat heard of breaking your duck?
All right.
Surely not.
Let's see if the chat has heard
I'm intrigued.
of breaking your duck.
I mean, it's been a very low-scoring 1v1 so far. I feel like AJ's the kind of player to be like, yeah, I'm the big man. I'm going to get a couple of incredible goals here. But ZPS isn't necessarily giving him that time and space. I like the idea there from ZPS. He's low on boost, and AJ is going to be continuing to starve him.
Just to pick a few responses at random. Unbelievable Physique says yes, heard of it. Chief says yes. And Finlock says yes. So
okay, I'd like
the
to
first
pick
3 that I pick.
I'd like to pick Alderon Esquire saying, "What's a duck?"
That's
all right.
That's your people, Stumpy. People who don't know what a duck is. All right. Well done.
Never
You've
heard of
won
him.
them over.
Well, you want it well done. It'd be quite chewy. 2-1 Optic with 2 minutes left, and AJ is probably thinking this is closer than he was anticipating. ZP has a chance to shoot on this. That's on target. But AJ, what a wonderful dive across net to keep it out.
Good effort from ZPS. I'm glad that we're seeing the real ZPS in this 1v1. He was like a little rabbit in the headlights earlier on against Daniel. But now he is those headlights. He's beaming down upon AJ with the ball. Corner the ball goes. He's going to be able to have some possession here.
Faking low boost.
Oh,
faking low boost.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
And then pulls away.
Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's so wonderful. Just did little spurts. And then ZPS stops, then reverses. As soon as he's done that, AJ can put his foot on the accelerator, press the boost button, and fly past him. Just outstanding, essential mind gamery from AJ.
I think, again, that's where we're seeing that ZPS is not quite in this level of 1v1s as your AJs, as your Daniels. They can pull out those tricks that people who aren't complete 1v1 regulars just can't quite understand. AJ, I'm not sure that was his best ever touch. Maybe he had something in mind that I didn't quite see, but it's a misplay from him. So now ZPS in, and this is where ZPS can at least make AJ think. In these corners where he's got some possession of the ball, he can get it up in the goal and he can score.
Working out of corners is such a hard thing to do as well. The fact that ZPS can get it round and then lands nicely with the wave dash in the bottom corner. AJ was left chasing for the entire play, but being able to score from those tight corners, that is a fantastic movement from ZPS, and Boulevard must be thinking, okay, it's just the one goal, definitely chances.
AJ, though, is going to have more chances of his own. He's going to go for his classic move, the little floor play he does. It's an air dribble bump. You knew it was happening. As soon as he was up, he suddenly switches his attention from the ball to ZPS, picks him out. There you go, makes a zombie out of him.
I like the movement from AJ there a lot. Looked like he was going for the edge rule play, then he looked like he was going to go for the ground play, and then in the end decides to try and hit the man instead, and does re-establish that 2-goal difference.
AJ is so dangerous. When he has the ball, what's he going to do? Goes for the little catch. ZPS is at least staying a bit more grounded in defense this time, which is good. You were right earlier on, Stumpy. He seems to be falling for that trick one time too many. And now AJ's going to struggle just a little bit more when he has control of the ball. ZPS, can he just surprise AJ here? That's the thing. It's a bit telegraphed from ZPS, a bit too obvious for him.
But still close. Still so close. ZPS taking his time a little bit too much on that, and AJ, seeing that with the 100 boost steal, is able to fly straight back in. Knows his ZPS is pretty low on boost there too. Oh no, AJ didn't even get the boost steal. He was on 3 when he got that. Just knew that ZPS was in an awkward position and dives straight on it, pounces, establishes a 3-goal lead, and Optic Gaming looking fantastic to be moving on in that lower bracket.
We saw some decent kickoff strats from Optic Gaming in the 3v3. I was wondering if we'd see the same from ZPS and Boulevard. And he is the player that needs 3 goals to come back. Oh, hello, AJ!
What?
Wow, he just kept on going and rolled the ball home.
He scooped it high on the reset. Oh, did he get a second reset on that? When he landed on the ball for the second time, when he scooped it, it looked like he got the immediate second reset.
I mean, whatever he did, it was something a little bit special. I think it involved some luck, let's be honest, off the crossbar, but all the best goals do. All the best goals do involve luck, do you know what I mean? Like, the best moments in sport involve a little bit of fortune, and you've got to be good enough to be able to take it, and that's what happened there from AJ. Styling on his opponent, not quite up to the goal difference of Daniel was against poor old ZPS, who...
He's not going to play ones again, is he?
He's earned his money for charity, and now he probably never wants to speak of it again.
In the ones, anyway. He's done well in the 3v3s. He's been no slouch whatsoever in any of them. AJ just a rolling one. Yeah, he's done well, as have all of Boulevard to get through to this point. But end of the day, you've come up against version 1 and then Optic. They are 2 horrendously hard teams to run into. So, yeah, I don't envy him doing that whatsoever. But in the end, it's going to come down to the team just being better.
I mean, Boulevard have also got at least 1 game against both version 1 and Optic. So credit to them. They come into this event as, I believe, the lowest seeds, and they're going to leave a couple of games under their belt. And AJ's got himself a cheeky pogo. Well done, AJ. Or was it a bounce dribble? Was it a pogo? Let's see.
Hang on, one to the ceiling. No.
Just a little touch. Just a little.
If he got the touch there, then it would have been a pogo, but he didn't get a second one. All right. I know it was car bounce, but you just didn't get the second touch. Yeah. That's right. It's late here. It's 11 p.m.
It's late for you. You want me in bed by like 9?
I'm a 9:30 bedtimer.
Now, are you exaggerating for the
I've been known to go to bed at 9:30.
Really?
Yeah. I've had an 8 p.m. bedtime in my time. Oh, ZPS, come on, mate. At least make it 0. Okay. I'm happy that he didn't just go for it and then make us sit through another kickoff. We didn't need that. We didn't need that.
I don't know. I want as much Rocket League as possible. Something unlike you.
All right. We don't get paid on how much we suck up to the production. Thank you.
What?
I know. Fantastic showing there from Optic Gaming. Boulevard, unfortunately, now out of the competition. But as you said, Cole, they did well to be getting a game versus version 1 and a game versus Optic. So congratulations to them. Otherwise, Optic, they move through to the lower bracket quarterfinals. And after this break that we're about to throw to, we are going to be seeing Koi versus Axel with some brand new casters over here as well. Keep your eyes peeled.
Hello, gamers. Welcome back to Gamers Without Borders. I'm Spaceman, that's Lemon Kiwi. You should follow the stream and use those channel points to find out what's going to happen next and who's going to win, because I got a doozy for you. We just watched version 1 of Complexity on the main stream. If you're just joining us, welcome in. We got Rocket League today, tomorrow, and the next 2 days this week. It's going to be very fun, but for now, we do have to talk about this matchup here on the B stream. It's Koi versus Team Accelerate. It's going to be a fun one because, well, one of the biggest takeaways we have so far with this matchup specifically is the organization of Koi. Look, Lemon Kiwi, this used to be Rogue, right? The huge brand internationally in America. They rebrand now. They are now known as Koi, and with that, they decided to make a roster change. You still have Gyro on the squad, but Gyro has surrounded himself with 2 other unique players. This is one of those teams that in the offseason made a bunch of changes. What is that like for a team to come into an international competition? It's great practice, but you have a brand new team, brand new organization. What does that do to the mental?
Oh, I think it's a fresh start, right? And I'm looking at Koi's roster, Sosa from the Knights. I casted actually a lot of Knights when I started Rocket League. I was doing their, what was it? Some like bubble tournament for them. And Sosa was, I kind of made this joke that he was like either so-so or so-sa. And he was this kind of inconsistent player that just grew to be, I think, a superstar. And now he finds himself on a team in this bracket. And I'm excited to watch kind of where his career has gone now on Koi.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting takeaway is what is the career going to look like for a lot of these really young players who are now getting their chance on different rosters. You saw the bracket there. We don't got to break it down. You know what happened. Use your eyeballs. Koi is now in a situation where when they come in against Accelerator, granted, this is a team of Gimmick, Toasty, and Taroko. We're talking about relationship history that always exists in esports. Taroko, one of those players, used to be on Rogue alongside Gyro, now finds himself on Team Accelerate. Koi, Team Accelerate, again, now known as Axel, but we'll use the additives as they go. Toasty and Gimmick, another fantastic duo to round out this roster. A team in Axel that you don't want to underestimate, but I think that Koi have a lot of promise in the likes of Cheese and Sosa. They're a little bit more versatile, a little bit more dynamic now with their offense, and their defense has gotten better. And I think that Gyro has found that being the vocal leader when he was on a team in Rogue, and now Koi with the likes of Taroko and Aqua. Aqua was a young player. Gyro kind of had to step up and be an IGL. And now Gyro has a chance to really play with people, both on his age gap, but also in a situation where maybe he has more versatility with them. It's a battle of just new rosters, new squads. And you never know what you're going to get. So with that in mind, Lemon Kiwi, when it comes to approaching the start, as a long series, crew battle is very different. How do you, as a player, kind of step in and say we need to take it a game at a time? What do you think needs to be the priorities for Axel or Koi when it goes into the start of this 3v3?
Well, the 3v3s, this is your fundamentals, right? This is where the competitive scene starts. And I know Axel, I've seen them in the bubble scene, these tournaments. I think the AAA Challenger Series even, and Taroko is a superstar. I'm always going to be biased for my Canadians, okay? I'm always going to cheer them on. You see where 3v3s bring you, and then whoever I think is on fire and is feeling themselves after that first game, that's who you send into either the 2v2s or the 1v1s, where obviously it's less pressure to go for those 2v2s right off the start, but these are 2 open qualifier teams, the bottom seeded ones who are the underdogs. And guess what? Yeah. Whoever feels good after this series gets to go up against Complexity.
That is your reward. And listen, this is how sometimes North American Rocket League goes. Your reward is you play FaZe, you play Gen G, you play G2. Back in the day, 2 years ago, you played NRG. Like, that was your reward. But when it comes to this matchup specifically, that Koi get to this point, they lose to G2 3-0. You can't blame them. It was a pretty close game 1. They gave G2 some problems in the threes, but it was atomic going up against in that 1v1 that really surprised me. Now, granted, Koi did have a substitute. They had Cosmic come in for ones as a ones main, which is one of the first times we've seen a team in the GWB tournament since last year really pull that off. But you're going up against the likes of Atomic on G2, so it didn't go their way. Regardless, though, you have options here. If you're Koi, I expect them to have a pretty fruitful series. For Axel, you have to think the defense has to be the state leader. I mean, you're looking at the likes of Torment, legendary player in the scene. Taroko's gotten so much better since his old Rogue days when we're looking at the likes of First Killer and Turo, how he stepped up in the midfield as a 2 option. And this is a team that can thrive in kind of the chaos and when the play breaks down. But Koi have a lot to prove. This new roster comes in, new organization. Excited to see what Gyro can do. We're at about a minute and a half so far here, Lemon Kiwi. Nobody finding the opening goal just yet, but a lot of pressure on the orange side of the field as Koi are pressing.
I know that I was hearing that Koi have maybe the secret sauce for their one-on-ones if they do decide to go that direction, getting rank 1 in ones apparently. So I wonder if that's what they're going to opt for if they, of course, lose. It's the loser that picks that game mode. So for now, almost are into the second half with a 0-0 score line. It's been a fast-paced game. Gimmick getting above one, trying to connect to Toasty. Gyro at least pinches it off the backboard. Cheese looking for the clear, and Team Axel have a chance to apply that pressure. Starting to fall back now that they're low on boost.
They're going to get Gimmick in the dominance 99 times out of 99. You're just always going to see it. He's able to scoop and serve just there, pinching it down towards the opposite post, and uses the lower ground to wheel this one away through the corner. Trying to scream upfield as Gyro will win the challenge yet again. Another 50 win to Cheese. Finnegan hand can't clear it back over on the opposite post, but off the top bar and cleared away. There's a wide shot there from Axel as Koi will now try to make their move, but interesting. Looked like a double commit for the moment. Possession back to the team in orange. Axel trying to move their way out.
Still 0-0. This cuts to Toasty. We'll be able to clear it out. No, Sosa's able to pinch it off the wall, and Gyro, I mean, that ball came in quick. I don't blame him. How are you supposed to catch that one? And gets physically removed. So he's like, it's not my fault. I got demoed. As Team Axel, they'll have the 3 versus 2. Counterattack ensuing. Double commit from Koi. Sets it to the wall. Taroko with a chance to get a shot in, but pretty big wall in front of that blue net. There's still 90 seconds and no one has scored.
I mean, look, if you're kind of talking about the battle of the midweights, that's where we're at here. Looking at the top dogs in the likes of Complexity in V1 and V2. This is where everybody else tends to sit. You're not going to be getting these explosive opening in games that you might see off kickoff strats from Complexity or the sustained offense that you get from a G2 or V1 today. But in this instance, you are looking at 2 teams that are relatively even in terms of skill level, placements as well. Granted, a lot of roster changes have ensued. With a minute to go, we are wondering who's going to break the doors open, who's going to start things off, because it has just been trading possessions. We've had a bit of boom ball, but Cheese trying to work through the side wall, quickly cut down. Yet again, possession, back and forth we go. Nobody having a clear hold here in game 1, and we all know what's coming up next. Could be 1s, could be 2s. Whoever loses gets their choice. And with that, things could be very, very different, but you have the Vitality decal. I like it. Can you pull off a little bit of Zen magic? Doesn't look like it. And, well, we've gone back to the staple of game 1, just throwing the ball back downfield.
Team Axel just barely have any boost to work with. Gimmick has to go up high to protect the backboard. Still looking for the clear, though. And with the last 25 seconds, if Koi strike and find blood, then there's not going to be that much time for a response. Seems like Koi, though, have loosened their grip. And it's this chaos in the midfield where Cheese leads the charge for Koi. Last 12 seconds left, and Team Axel redirected in, but Gyro was there just in case. Well, we go into OT shortly, and this is where all mistakes will be punished.
This one's dangerous a bit. Gotta look for a clear here. Already reading it, but you're gonna play it low to the dirt. Don't blame you. It's a nice decision there from Axel. They didn't like their chances on the counterattack, and, well, it's been a stalemate in game 1. Into OT we go. We'll see how this one plays out as Sosa will have to work through his own corner, evading pressure. And more numbers move up. Axel now pressing, and they'll fall back in rotation. And on that transition, we look at Cheese with a lot in the tank to open things up.
Oh, just that backboard well protected by Team Axel. I like the follow-up. You try to flick it out, didn't get enough power. This gives it over to Gyro. And Team Axel, don't let him use that space. As Koi, just wait and see how Team Axel is going to clear it, react, and counter when they have the chance to strike. And Koi move forward. Gyro's kind of bumped off that ball. Sosa's got 2 people on him. So it's hard for Koi to find that opening, and it might take some demos to clear some people out. And looks like Koi got removed. Team Axel can clear.
Very important clear of that. They were starting to get overwhelmed, but the pressure does subside. And the numbers at midfield, it's Taroko. Sometimes you see him on the Fennec. Now he's changed over to the Octane. Underrated striker. I've been a big fan of Taroko in his entire career. I think he got overlooked often because First Killer was kind of the main man on the team back with Rogue. But Taroko is a fantastic second man on any offense. Doesn't really get the love he deserves, but here we go. As he tries to move up, still wins it through the corner, looking for a center, but his teammates didn't want to overcommit onto the play, and the rotation quickly falls back. The counterattack started for Koi. Didn't continue. Axel cut it away. Gyro, the longest standing member on this Koi/Rogue original roster. I think also a stat came out yesterday that he's one of the only players in North America to make most, if not all, the regionals. And that's a great shot from Sosa. I think he's Sosa right now. I think he's showing up to win this one.
Yeah, the A stands for A+. After the whole 5 minutes plus 90-second overtime, Koi breakthrough And it's Sosa, your superstar, with a game-winning goal for Koi. And it's a best of 5 in the lower bracket. It's do or die. And you got Complexity, the final boss, the gatekeepers of your semifinal to go deep. But hey, it's all for charity. And of course, the prize pool is huge no matter where you end up.
I like this trend we have going where Lemon Kiwi has seen some players and been casting over some players here, and all of a sudden they're stepping up today. I don't know what's going on. Like we got Sosa just ending it with a dagger, like the best shot we had in game 1 after 7 minutes, and it was Sosa just from the mid range. Okay, so I'm gonna be coming to you, Nostradamus, for more predictions here in this series, because so far it was a pretty one-sided affair in that OT, but it was 6.5 minutes of just relentless boom ball. And look, if you get caught in the monotonous grind, it's tough to break out of, but what I really liked there was really just the confidence and the patience from Sosa and Cheese and Gyro, the whole crew of Koi, keeping themselves composed. Of course, their coach still corrupted G. Shout out to him, one of the legends of the scene, and of course working with Gyro and the new squad to get them up to speed. But they take the first game here in GWB, got swept by G2. Now they find themselves on the board, but it's a long series coming up. I could not tell you what we're going to get, Lemon Kiwi. I don't know if we're getting 1s or 2s. I would think you go 2s, given how Cosmic struggled against Atomic in the 1s the last time around. Give him some time to breathe and work into the system, but I don't know. What are you thinking? You've been so honest.
I go 2s.
Okay.
So if I lose, it's not just my fault. It's not just my fault if we lose. At least that's what I would stress. That's too much pressure for me, but that's why I'm in the casting booth where, the 6-digit prize pool is not on my shoulders, but
limit the responsibility. That's what we're going to do.
Exactly. Someone has to lose with me at the end of the day. So 2v2s chosen by Team Axel, which I gotta say their defense is what I love the most in 3s, but it's the counterattacks that I felt didn't spark up too much. It took a few demos onto Koi for Team Axel to find the space, and hey, both defenses happened great, hence why we had a 0-0 OT.
That is so true. I mean, the defenses have stood the test of time. The offenses weren't entirely next level, not ultra-dimensional that we've seen from the best of the best, but you're not expecting that going into the series. You just need clean Rocket League. And oftentimes when you fall back on those fundamentals, that's where you find yourself being able to withstand long stretches of nothing happening, and you can pull yourself through a tournament when you can rely on those cadences. But Gyro, as we've known for many, many years, is an explosive player when he feels comfortable. One of the biggest questions is always, does he feel comfortable? Does he feel like he can contribute in a competent way? If the answer is yes, you're going to get the best from him. If the answer is no, he can make some mistakes. But so far in the series, it's been only one game. Sample size is small. He's been playing just fine as Taroko tried to win the 50, but left it in the front of the box, quickly denied. And we'll move back out to the midfield as Team Axel will try to make their mark.
How do you make that mark, though? Gyro protects their backside, sends it right down. Koi, looking like they're approaching, feeling like Team Axel don't have a good handle on this. They challenged, pops real deep. Team Axel following up, Cheese closing the right side, following up to also clear it out. As this has got lost in the sauce, Cheese just has to center it out. Goes up the wall, Gyro waits for how Taroka's gonna clear this, reacts, puts it to the corner. Toasty trying to block the right side. It's a 2-on-1, and Koi find the back of the net.
Ooh, I like what I'm seeing. I like the enforcer role here. Gyro keeps it close chest, plays it all the way around, and gets the bomb and leaves it for Cheese to finish the deal. That's a Gyro special. I'm just telling you right now, folks. Listen, when we talk about Koi, that is a Gyro special. When Taroko was on this team, that's what they would do together. When Aqua was on this team, that's what they would do together. That is what we like to see. If you're a Koi fan, you're feeling very, very happy about that goal. And you love how this 2s is working out so far. Granted, we burned a bit of time. Already about 1:45. That's math. We're going to math it. And it's been all of Koi to start. The pressure's been there. Gyro with a full tank. Cheese gets a full grab. And with that, they're going to bully their way through the defensive end and make it difficult for the offense to open up for Axel.
I want Cheese and Toasty to be on the same team so they could be like the British grilled cheese. I found out what that was the other day, as Gyro finds out has a score with how fast that damn ball was going all the way past everyone from Team Axel and at the back.
I do like the idea of Toasty and Cheese being on the same team. I didn't put together the additive of the British version of grilled cheese or the European version, but I was like Toasty and Cheese. I mean, they have to go together. That's great. That's great. I like that idea. I also like the 2-0 lead that Koi have working for them. They took game 1 in OT thanks to what Sosa was able to put up on the field. You got Gyro and Cheese working. We expected the 2s to have Gyro in rotation. So far, that's been exactly what's happened, but they have built upon their lead. It's a 2-goal deficit. Team Axel trying to work some magic through the corner, but they got 1v2'd, and Cheese hits the musty, but it's quickly blocked out and saved towards the corner. To the midfield we go. Things seem to start slowing down for the moment. Not a lot of aggression And not a lot of pacing as Taroko just squeezes that, pinches it off the back wall.
And that's off the pass from Toasty back to Taroko, the synergy, the second touch, to angle that towards the net. And I like the attempt from Koi to challenge. We go into the second half with signs of life from Team Axel. As I was worried that was getting out of hand when Team Koi win the OT. They start the game off 2-0. Was this going to be just a sweep? But Team Axel, they know how to score. They've just shown us.
And maybe it takes a quick counterattack. Maybe that is what is required. But so far, the defense has struggled to find those clears. Gyro, I think, missed a touch, which leads way to what Toasty's about to do. Gets the corner as well. Takes everything out for Koi to work with. Taroko nicely done, playing patiently and just guiding the ball towards his front. Hood will play it back. Toasty gives it right back, and here comes Taroko. He's not going to be pushed up often. If you're playing twos and Taroko's on the field, he will be the last one back, so be careful in the overextension if you're Axel. As Toasty from the ceiling can't find the pinch, but I like the idea.
Oh, jeez. It's like, Taroko ain't got this, I got this. I'm too slow. But 1 minute left. It's a scramble. It feels like just as chaotic as how the game one went, of both teams just salvaging on their defense and looking for space, but the counterattacks, well defended. Time for Koi to rotate back. You don't seem too bad. Toasty has to go through two people. Taroko helps him shove through, but she's receiving this bounce, redirects it right to the lap of Toasty.
30 and some odd change on the clock. Here we go. What do you have in the tank, Axel? You got one good press upfield. Taroko was able to pinch it and squeeze it for a 2-1 goal. I don't know if it's deficit lead. I don't even know if it's an equal. It's not. We're just going to leave it as they're down, and they're down by 1. Here goes Taroko.
Down bad.
They're down horrendous. But can they turn the tops? Taroko leaves it. Did all he could. There's the bump, but it's a self bump. Gyro got to be careful. Cheese. Can't catch him overextending. Taroko, the midfield. He's got to play this on his own. Make it a ones game if you have to. Cheese gives it back. Toasty catching. You got full boost here for Taroko. And that clear is deadly, and that bump's even worse. That is a 2-0 series lead. And my oh my, Koi are making very quick work all of a sudden out of Axel. I did not expect it to be maybe this one-sided in twos. It was only a 2-1 game, but they're up 2-0, and we got threes coming up. Lemon, I don't know what's going on. What's happening?
Are we going to see the 0-0 OT with minutes gone by? I mean, Koi won the threes. They won the twos. We're going back to threes. That's where my prediction's going. So has been on fire. Got that game-winning goal in game one. So depending on him once again, I mean, I'm not like overly impressed by either team. I think Koi have been having more chances to punish Team Axel's rotations, and it's only 1 or 2 goal difference that we're seeing, right? Usually only by 1. Team Axel were able to come back kind of halfway through that game and make it competitive, but that was their only goal this whole series.
And that's the thing. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's been a 1 goal difference for these games. Granted, the OT went a minute or 2, but it was close, relatively speaking, until Sosa really ended that one. And after the 2-0 lead, I mean, we saw a resurgence for the moment. It was 1 or 2 good drives from Axel to make it a 2-1 game, but it's been a 1 goal affair for the majority of this series. Only 2 games, but could this end in a sweep? It very well could, with the way Koi are playing, with how poised they look. No matter what Axel's been throwing at them, Koi have had an answer. Whether or not it's been a super impressive answer, it doesn't really matter. Just face the challenge that's in front of you, and Koi certainly have. As so far, Gyro is doing Gyro things off the kickoff, and it's been all of the pressure from the boys in blue to start this one off.
Oh, Sosa! Oh, to Gyro! The pass was almost so beautiful. Taroko got there first. Oh, geez, not tall enough for this ride. Taroko on a wild adventure. Just dumps into the corner, pushes Sosa out, makes the space for Gimmick, and the red carpet is there for Team Axel.
And that's the gimmick we're looking for. Like, this is the gimmick we're used to. Where has this man been this series? The dominance comes into full effect. Clears house to get bodied. And there we go. He shows up. You got Toasty in the back wing. 1-0 lead. Axel, for the first time in the series, will have a lead in the game.
It looks like Koi with at least some kickoff edge here. Sosa to the sky. Right down to Cheese, who redirects it a bit higher than the defender. Not what Team Axel were expecting.
That was 111 kilometers per hour. I need to see this replay. Gets the pass, and Cheese. Perfect timing on the reset. Or the flip, whatever you want to call it in that moment. Burns the defender. I mean, that's just, the depth of field is way too quick. for how you're going to read that. Nice play by Koi to get themselves back involved. The equalizer comes in with about 4:15 to play. And Gyro is not done yet. Here he comes, winning another possession, flying forward, has the Fennec to boot, and they'll kick this towards the backboard.
Yeah, Gyro, all right to Gimmick, but Cheese was ready. Actually, pops over him. I thought Koi could keep the rally going. At least they have midfield position. Sosa in the box, tips it back to the right post, though, too wide. Cheese, not the janitor on duty to clean that up, and Team Axel struggling to get out of their own end.
And that shot really just forces the save. It forces the commit on defense, and that allows Gyro or anybody else in rotation for Koi to get moved for the boost. So if you lose the angle, you immediately have somebody else up to follow. It's a force on Axel, but they have no choice, and the long clear favors Koi. So with that, you're wondering, okay, what else do we have in store for Axel to clear their own defensive side of the field, get back to that 50-yard line, because they are struggling to hold on after that midfield touch. Gimmick on the long touch all the way to the backboard. This should be saved and brought back down as Cheese will have more than enough in this comms to eventually create this counterattack. Koi kind of playing with their food here, and they have all the opportunities in the world to put another one on the board.
It's match point for Koi, so Team Axel got to throw everything at this game and just can't seem to maintain that presence on the blue side as Koi crack through. Cheese leads that, doesn't have a lot of boost, bounces over to the midfield, pass by Gyro, but to the crossbar. And Team Axel, I mean, this ball has a lot of power, so Team Axel can work with this while Koi rotate back. But just, I feel like Team Axel are so charitable today, giving the ball over to Koi so much.
We're watching Cheese, musty pass to the backboard, following back in transition, grabbing the rebound, getting boost, going back up midfield, and setting up his teammates. I mean, he's doing everything you want. And Gyro's going to double tap from the sky to make it a 2-1 game. This was all set up for the past minute and a half by Cheese. And Gyro closes the deal on this one. This is just perfect Rocket League out of Koi.
2-1. Perfect-ish. I mean, I'd be nervous only being up by 1. Team Axel, though, they've only, that's their high score in this series, is 1 goal. So I'm waiting. See if they can beat just that. Gimmick. I mean, it feels like Team Axel have had the opportunities on offense. It's just the accuracy not always there to get that second, maybe third goal. The redirects from Koi are so nasty, though. Here's Gyro up to the sky, over to Cheese, and almost to the back of the net.
Gimmick's doing all he can. A defensive mastermind in Gimmick. Same with the likes of his old teammate Torment, but Sosa from the side wall has been a problem all series. He was at the midfield in game 1, and now he pulls up from the opposite corner. I mean, this is just a beautiful recovery back on the ball. A double commit from Team Axel, but at that point, they're done. There's no way to save this. So much space for Sosa. The biggest lead we've had so far. It's a 2-goal deficit. Team Axel trying to find something, but Koi have everything they need.
Koi look comfortable. The passes are going well. They have the freedom on the ball. They have more possession too. Team Axel, yeah, they go for touches. They go for challenges. And it's just unfortunate for them that the accuracy sends the ball too wide. And that must be frustrating. You have that to deal with, your own weaknesses, along with the fact that Koi are on match points, the lower bracket, and it's getting real close to being a 4-1. Here's the counterattack that ensues for Team Axel. Up in the air is the ghost of Toasty. Gimmick wanted that ball, but Gyro got in the way.
Is this the handoff? No, we're taking it ourselves. We're taking it ourselves, Gyro. He's officially crowned himself as Gyro. He's back. We've seen it from years past. When he starts popping off like this, he gets the U. See you later. That's Gyro. He's here. 4-1. He called game. I don't blame him. And Koi, look, it's cardinal sin. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm calling it. With the way this one's gone, I'm sorry. I've seen enough. I know what Gyro can do. Gyro at this point. Axel have thrown everything they have offensively. Creativity hasn't really been there. It hasn't been their strong suit. But they're getting outplayed. Defensive end, transitions, counterattacks, midfield grabs, the infield passing. Everybody's shaking and high-fiving at midfield. Koi are just having their way in this series, and this game 3 is no different.
This feels like Team Axel are just that confidence-based team that once that started to fall, when you're down 0-2, even down 0-1, the fact that you were stretched to the limit in that OT and it doesn't go your way, you're mad at Sosa for ending the pizza party early. Team Axel just didn't know how to come back, and you have some good defensive stops. And Gimmick, I think, has been a huge part of that spark plug for the offensive Team Axel. But in terms of execution, it's not always there. And when you're only down by 1 and you're like, wow, if only I would have just played better. Then this would have been a tie game. Team Axel maybe would have even won a game or two. But Koi got comfortable. Their mechanics improved in the last couple of seconds. Team Axel ain't beating that 1-goal high score, it looks like.
I don't often get things right. It's actually my favorite thing is usually just getting predictions wrong. But I did come in saying if Gyro shows up and he feels confident, they're going to call game and they're going to have their way. And all of a sudden, Gyro starts looking confident. You see him moving upfield with possession, basically just playing ISO. And in a 1v1, when Gyro has the Fennec, he's going to put it over you and he's going to dunk you through. So it was one of those situations where really it came down to essentially you have a 1-goal deficit if you're Team Axel. And can you tie the game up? Can you tie the game up in the 1s, the 2s, the 3s? It didn't happen. We didn't see it even get to a game 4. But in game 1, it was really all of Koi in the end. When the last minute or so before OT kicked off, they had rotations. And then in game 2 and 3, I mean, Koi just showed up. Lemon Kiwi, I mean, sometimes series go this way, but you get swept, then you do the sweeping. Unfortunately for Team Axel, their run ends here, but Koi move on. They look comfortable, like you said.
Yeah, that's that lower bracket first round team. We say goodbye to Team Axel. We've already said goodbye to Boulevard. And Koi move on to face Complexity. And that will be exciting. Let's look at the bracket, actually, for all you visual learners out there who like things to look at. This is, I know, I'm not very good at describing things. It's been a fun bracket so far.
It absolutely has. Look, if you're a fan of V1, you were wondering how they would look after the announcement of Daniel joining the squad. You're having a very, very good day today. Optic, of course, struggling against Complexity, and this is the upper bracket, so they're not out of the tournament just yet. For teams that you're seeing on your screen, they're still moving forward on the top side, the likes of G2, the likes of SSG, V1 waiting in the upper bracket final. They will play, of course, the winner of G2 and SSG. On the other side, Optic won against Boulevard 3-1. They now wait the loser, I believe, of Complexity and V1, which should actually, no, it's SSG and G2. So they will await the loser of G2 and SSG. That's going to be a fun one as well. I mean, I'm having a heart attack, actually, so I'm literally dying.
Keep it together.
Yeah, so again, like if you wanted to come and see North America's best in international competition and get a chance to play against international competition, you're going to see it here, because so far we have seen a V1 prowess. We've seen an SSG correction after their roster change. We've seen G2 doing G2 things that they have always done for the past couple of years. And here you go at the lower bracket side of things. Koi, very impressive 3-0 regardless. It was a bloodbath, but they got it done. And now they'll play Complexity, which is a very tough matchup. But I mean, Kiwi, I've done all the rambling. Look at these brackets. What are you seeing, whether it's winner side, lower side? What is standing out to you most?
Well, Channel 4 News report, G2 just took game 1 over Space Station. So I'm a call it this or no, I'm just kidding. But you have to, your team, Optic Gaming, versus an alter ego of you of Space Station Gaming.
Oh, that's
Honestly,
so true. Oh,
team.
No.
Space
Did
himself.
not realize I now have stakes in this. Oh, man.
The lower bracket quarters too. It's so early in the bracket to say goodbye to either of those teams.
Sure.
Would you say the Complexity over the version 1 over Complexity match that we casted on the A stream earlier, is that considered an upset? I mean, I know the analysts had a hard time calling that.
I think it depends on who you ask. I mean, from my perspective, I would look at that as yes, only simply because of the fact that recency-wise, Complexity has been a top 4 team in North America, and version 1, who hadn't been, made a roster change to become one and now look like one. So it was really a question of what version 1 do we get after this roster change. We all expected them to be a top 4 team now, but I expected Complexity to handle their business in 3s, and that is the game in which they lost. That's how they lost the series. They lost it in traditional Rocket League fashion. So that was surprising. Complexity, a team that was a favorite to win this whole event. Granted, still a lot of Rocket League to be played, but absolutely a strong showing from version 1 as they will sit and wait in the upper bracket final. But closing thoughts, Lemon Kiwi, so far we've had a couple of sweeps, but we've also had a couple of game 5s. I mean, it's been a fun day at Rocket League.
I know. I gotta go grab my popcorn because I want to watch G2 versus Space Station because the winner of that goes up against version 1. And also, I mean, we're casting most of these matches, so not us, but the broadcast is going through all of these matches, and then Optic versus Space is another banger. And to say goodbye to one of those teams is heartbreaking. It
is. You don't want to see teams jump out this early, especially day 1. But the beauty of some of these matchups is you're getting the best of the best. And if you don't show up, you don't show up. But that's going to do it here for us at the moment, as we are ready to jump into the next stream. But before we get to the next matchup, we of course have to take a commercial break and thank our sponsors. So when we come back, we'll have another series here, another best of 5 for you guys to enjoy. It's Gamers Without Borders. We'll see you in a second.